Welcome to Nimmin Live, the #1 place on the internet to learn about YouTube, network with other content creators, and have an awesome time doing it. My name is Nick, and today I'm answering your YouTube questions. Now, how this works is there is a form down in the description below this stream right now. So if you have a question about what it is that you're doing here on YouTube, go ahead and get your question down there so that we can get it answered here on the stream today. I also want to let you know that this stream is brought to you by TubeBuddy, the #1 browser plugin, the #1 tool for YouTube content creators. TubeBuddy will help you optimize your videos for discovery. It'll help you test your thumbnails to make sure that the thumbnails that you're making are effective for the audience that you're trying to reach. It'll help you get your videos ready and optimized properly for search if you're going after search traffic on YouTube. They have over 90 different tools that are going to help you with your YouTube channel. You can try TubeBuddy out for free through the link in the description below. And if you decide to upgrade, just as a heads up, if you're under 1,000 subscribers, they give you a discount, which is pretty awesome. Now, in addition to that, this stream is co-sponsored by StreamYard, which is the live streaming software that I use to live stream this every single Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern. Mixing in a shameless plug with that one. But basically, the reason that I use StreamYard is because they do all the heavy lifting for me, so it's not real taxing on my computer. In addition to that, they make it really easy for me to bring in guests, add graphics to the screen like you can see on the screen right now, things like that. But StreamYard is a fantastic piece of software because in addition to it doing all of that, they also host everything on the cloud for you. So if your stream goes down, if you have a problem there, then they actually keep the stream going until you can get back to it, which is awesome, especially if you have a lot of people coming into your streams and you don't want to lose that. So you can try out StreamYard at StreamYard.com, or you can hit the link in the description for that as well. But links to both of those things, of course, are down in the description. So feel free to check those out and a bunch of other links that I have down there that will help you with your YouTube channel as well. Useful stuff for content creators. So with all that out of the way, what is going on, Doug Houston? Hope that you're doing fantastic. Hybrid Steel in the house. What's up, man? Hope you're doing great. Paul Peck, Drywall Tube, my man, what is up? Hope you're doing great. Chatty Kathy, nice to see you in here. Zeppelin 3D, hope that you are having a fantastic start to your weekend. So, quick news thing here. How many people here have under 500 subscribers on your YouTube channel? Or maybe you just crossed 500 subscribers on your YouTube channel. I guess that one would make it a little bit more relevant because what I'm getting ready to say, and I think you guys were talking about it in the chat already before I came in here, but basically YouTube is rolling out the community tab to 500 subscribers, channels with 500 subscribers or more. That's going to be coming in October. So keep an eye out for that. The way that you can use that is you can share behind the scenes stuff to get people hyped about a video that's coming up. You can share behind the scenes stuff just to help people get connected more with you. You can also use it in a way, for those of you that are going to be getting it when it comes out, you can also use it in a way to where you ask your audience very specific questions to help you get a better understanding of who it is that's watching your content so that you can, interact with them in a deeper way as well. So it can help you with that. It can help you, when you're putting out community posts, for the people that are interacting there. You can use it for video ideas, that sort of thing. But you can also use it to increase your monthly view counts. So what I mean by that is if you work into your scheduling to share a community post or to share videos in your community post, then what happens is for the people that interact in there, then you also get view counts for the people that are interacting there. You get your watch time for the people that are interacting there and so on. So for those of you that are trying to get into the partner program, for example, once this feature comes out, you want to start using it on a regular basis because it's going to help you add to your bottom line in terms of the amount of watch time that you're generating from your YouTube channel and the amount of views that you're also getting on your YouTube channel as well. So big round of applause to YouTube for rolling that out to channels that are that are 500 subscribers, because it used to be more. So I also want to say, Salad Cream Boy, thank you for the super chat. Salad Cream Boy says, "Hey Nick, why would allowing embeds on videos? Why should I allow embeds on videos? And if I allow the auto image to appear on Facebook, does it still count as a view on YouTube?" It counts as a view on YouTube if people actually click on it and then come over into YouTube. Embedded views don't count in terms of if the autoplay is on, which I think that happens over on Facebook. If the autoplay is on, then it doesn't count. But if the autoplay is off and they hit play, then it ends up counting. But the reason that you want to allow embeds on your videos is because when you allow embeds, then let's say that somebody's making a blog post on their website. and they make a blog post and your video is a great fit for what it is that they're talking about, then they can grab the embed link to your video, they can drop it into their blog post, and then bam, you now have additional exposure from those people that are doing that sort of thing. So, when you allow that embeds, it just allows a little bit more flexibility for other people to bring attention to what it is that you're doing as well. Also, Simply Small Engine Repair, thank you for the super chat as well, says busy day, so I will listen while I drive or on the replay. Fantastic. Thank you for that. Thank you for swinging by and stopping in. Hope that you are doing great. All right. So as we keep on going through this list, what we are going to do is I'm going to hop into the form, which I just realized I currently don't have open. So give me 1 second. I've got a quick shortcut going to that one. So bam, now it's open. I was going to say, give me a quick second to get that together. But in the meantime, what is up, Heidi, Costume C? I hope you're doing great. Brad, Magic Flying Potato, hope that you are also doing awesome, my man. Hope everybody's having a great week, great weekend so far as we are just getting started. So the very first question that we have today, and if you're just joining us, I'm pulling these questions right now from the form that is down in the description below. But as we progress through this stream, then I'll start, pulling them randomly from here as well. For the sake, and by here, I'm pointing to the chat. That's what I'm doing right there. But basically, I'm going to be pulling them from here as well. And the reason for that is because I know, the early bird, you guys, as you get your questions into the form, then, I try to answer as many of those as I can, but I also try to understand that people are going to be joining the stream today that are still asleep right now. So they didn't have an opportunity to come in based on the time that I go live. So I also want to give, those people a chance, those slackers, those sleepers, they should just wake up and come and join is what they should do. Those slacking sleepers. But anyway, for those people, I just want to give them the opportunity to, to come in here as well, so that they can, come in and just enjoy the stream, get their questions answered also. So the very first question that we have today from Spectrum Art Studio. Spectrum Art Studio says they do art tutorials and reviews. The goal of the channel is to help people improve their art skills. How many artists do we have in the chat here? And to be honest, if you're a YouTube content creator, I consider you an artist anyway. But if you are an artist in terms of, like you are, making stuff, like you're like painting and drawing and doing all the art related stuff. If that's you, just let me know. I'm just curious if you are an artist. But basically the question here, since they're trying to help people improve their art skills, says, hey, Nick, thanks for all that you do. I've been approached by an online supplier offering to supply me materials in return for a review and commission on product sales. See, this is where the opportunity starts to creep in on YouTube, right? Says I was going to reply with that. I would be happy to discuss this further, but firstly, the products would need to be a good fit for my channel. I don't do crafts. Okay. I have checked out the channel and they seem to fit within the budget and brands that I usually review. So I think they would work out for my channel. I also said that I would do an honest review and let's see here. And I'd like information on each product before agreeing to them being sent to me, as well as details on how the commission will be paid and if they provide international links. Can you think of anything else that I should ask, as I would rather have product commissions than a one-off payment? Okay, so when it comes to this, just make sure that they do have an affiliate program of some kind. And the reason that you want to make sure that they have an affiliate program of some kind, or at least some way for you to be able to compensate it for that, is because you need to be able to track it. So one thing that I do recommend that you do so that you can make sure that their tracking matches up with your tracking, is if you have a website of any kind, then you can go ahead and put up like a WordPress theme or something like that. And when you do that, you can add a plugin. There's an easy one called, I think it's called like WP Affiliates or something like that. But basically just find an affiliate plugin. And then through that affiliate plugin, you can actually bounce links directly off of your website, and it will count like how many people click this, right? So then you're keeping track along with them so that you can make sure that, things match up on both sides. So hopefully that'll help you out. Another way that you could do this, technically, you could also do it in your htaccess file on your website, but unfortunately for there, the tracking is a little bit different unless you go into like your logs. When it comes to just information to talk to them about, just be very clear. And you've already done this. Just be very clear. Like, hey, I'm just going to give an honest review. I'm going to let people know, what I legitimately think about this. And you've already also done the additional work in terms of, letting people know that you are letting them know that, you're going to be transparent about it, making sure it's a good fit for your audience, all of that good stuff. So you're ahead of it in terms of, the approach that you should be taking. But, one thing that I would definitely do is, even though they are possibly going to set you up with a commission, keep in mind that if they're only setting you up with commission and they're not going to pay you anything up front, when they do that, what you are doing is you're saying, okay, I'm just going to promote you as an affiliate. And just keep in mind that you might want to do some research around other people who do similar type of products to see, if they make a better product, so that the things that you're sharing with your audience, it's a just better quality. In addition to that, you want to also make sure that you are promoting the right thing for your audience as well. So they may or may not be a great fit for what it is that you're doing, but if you're only promoting as an affiliate, you have the entire affiliate world that you can open up to bring attention to different things for your audience. So just keep that in mind as well. So really quick, I just want to say, get business credit. Huge super chat right there, my man. Thank you so much for that. That's getting us off to a awesome start today. So thank you for that, man. Deeply appreciated. That's a big one. Thank you so much for that. In addition to that, we have Arjuna J says that they have it was actually a sticker, and then it says that it's a Shiba dog raising an arm to greet someone, asking how it's doing. That's how I'm reading it on my side for that sticker being translated into text. And let's see here. Diane Days Performance Parts says, I'm still struggling without Google AdWords. If you're struggling without Google AdWords, you're going to struggle with Google AdWords as well. And what I mean by that is, and I say this all the time in the live streams, like if like a lot of people will go into ads thinking that it's going to help them shortcut all of the other stuff that you need to do to grow a YouTube channel. And yes, even though that awareness is going to be spread about your channel, as soon as you turn the ads off, if you can't get that organic response on the platform anyway, in terms of people clicking on your content when it's presented to them on the homepage, recommended next to other videos and showing up on YouTube search, if you can't grab their attention there and get them to click there, and then they come in and enjoy your content, then as soon as you turn off the ads, then everything's going to dry up anyway. So it's better to start learning how to get some momentum organically on YouTube before you even consider exploring, through Google AdWords. Because if you just start, running ads on Google AdWords, a few things can work against you there. In addition to, you just not having the foundation set yet. In addition to that, if you don't know what you're doing, you might, because I see that you are doing something for Honda here. But one thing that you want to just make sure is that, that you're not targeting incorrectly either, because, you can build up an audience in a place where you don't want that audience to be. Like, let's say, for example, you target a low tier country because the ad rates are low and it'll help inflate your numbers. But then your audience is going to be like over there compared to, being, wherever else it is that you might want to grab your audience from. So because of that, you just make sure that you're really paying attention to what it is that you're doing. But first, before you do any ads at all, make sure that you can get an organic response on YouTube. Make sure you can get people clicking on what you're doing. Make sure you can get people watching your content, watching more than one video at a time, interacting in your comments, liking, doing all the stuff that is important for YouTube, so that you can have those skills in place, so that if you do decide to run ads in the future, when you turn those ads off, the whole show doesn't stop, so to speak. Let's see here. Next up on our list here, we have Get Business Credit says, do early streams matter to you? Like, should I do mixed hour streams? So for me, I build these streams, or it's kind of like a mix of my schedule and a mix of when I know people are online, over in like the US, because basically the primary audience for me is in the US. Of course, it's kind of spread out over in that area. But basically the primary audience is the US. So since it's the US, I try to catch people as they're getting up over on the East Coast, and then ride it out for a bit, across the country as people are waking up and able to come in and join and that kind of thing. So in terms of the times, you can definitely experiment with it. For me, I experimented back in the day, and then I just kind of locked into this 9 a.m. Eastern thing, just because it also works well, with my lifestyle. So in addition to catching people over in the morning and then kind of riding it through, it's Saturday evening for me. So this is kind of just like what I do on Saturday evening, and it's been that way for quite some time now. So if I don't do a live stream on Saturday evening, I feel weird about it, right? I'm like, man, I should be streaming right now, and it's hard for me to enjoy myself, like, doing something else. So in terms of the time, just mix it with who it is that you're targeting, and how it fits into your lifestyle. So that might be doing them right when you wake up in the morning. It might be doing them later at night, like I do on mine. Because, like, for example, here locally, it's 8:14 p.m. right? And I'm just getting started. So just work it into your lifestyle, but also make sure that you are, considering, who it is that you're targeting with your content as well. Aruna J says, hey, Nick, should I research / find my niche first, or should I just make videos ASAP and figure out as I go along? What's the best approach? So I recommend that you figure out what it is that you want to do by doing some research. So go ahead and just start making some content. You don't necessarily have to, upload it yet. Maybe you can upload it onto like TikTok or something like that, where you're trying to figure out what you're going to do on YouTube. But what you want to think about is you want to, one, make sure that what it is that you're doing is sustainable. So if you decide to go into a specific niche, you want to make sure that you can come up with enough ideas to where you can at least make that type of content for a couple of years if, you know, things end up working out well for you on YouTube. So you can just make sure that you're not going to get, you know, 30 videos in and then be like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to make a video about now. I don't know what to do. So, so you just want to make sure that what it is that you're doing is sustainable, because if it's sustainable, then in that case, you know, it's not going to be a difficult, or it's not going to be a challenge to actually keep the ball rolling once things start going well for you. In addition to that, you also want to research other channels, just see the type of progress that they're getting, see the type of results they're getting, and you want to study those channels so that you can try to uncover little nuances about what it is that they're doing in terms of, you know, how they're writing their titles to connect with the people that they're trying to reach, what they're doing with their thumbnails, the topics of videos that they're making, how they're editing their content together, how they're communicating through their audience with the, you know, through the camera, all of those types of things. You want to do that research so that when you do come in and you start publishing content, you hit the ground running. Now, if you're somebody that's like, hey, I have no idea. It's probably going to take me a while to come up with, you know, a niche that I want to serve. And since, you know, it's going to take a while, I do want to go ahead and start putting some content out. One thing that YouTube recommends is that if you have no idea and you're like, you know what, I don't know what I want to do, but I do know that I want to make videos. What YouTube recommends is that you just start putting out content like you're talking about here, that you just start putting out content. And then as soon as you notice one piece of content do exceptionally better than another piece of content or the other content that you're doing, to lean in that direction and start publishing content on that thing. So niche down in that direction. So what you want to think about though, when you're doing that, is if you are going to just be uploading random content, it's really important to be very intentional about that random content that you're uploading. So for example, you want to think about, okay, if I'm going to upload vlog content, then I'm going to make sure that I am willing, if this vlog ends up taking off, that I'm willing to do vlogging content for the next however long. If I'm going to start making videos about mashed potatoes, or flying potatoes, actually, in this example, if I'm going to be making videos about flying potatoes, then in that case, you know, I need to make sure that I'm able to come up with enough ideas to continue to be able to make, you know, videos about flying potatoes for, you know, for the indefinite future. So that's the thing that you want to make sure that you're thinking about when it comes to niche. And in addition to that as well, I'm not sure what your approach is in terms of if you're wanting to, you know, do YouTube full time, or if you're just going to do it as a hobby, or you're just going to kind of do it and kind of see how things go. But if you are somebody that is looking at this and you're like, hey, I want to do YouTube as an extra side income stream, or I want to do YouTube full time, then another thing that you want to make sure that you're doing when you are doing your niche research is just making sure that there are enough monetization methods available to help you be able to do that quickly. Because in some cases, you know, it's a lot more difficult to monetize what it is that you're doing than in other cases. Than it is in other cases. So because of that, you just want to make sure for the type of content that you're doing, that you give yourself, you know, that best advantage by just doing that research to make sure that you are stepping into something that, you know, that you're going to enjoy for a longer period of time, that you can come up with video ideas about, that you can compete in, right? So if everybody in that niche is awesome, you got to come into that space being awesome too. But in addition to that, if you're going to be trying to do this full time, then you want to make sure that it's also something that you can monetize in a relatively, you know, reasonable amount of time. So let's see here as we keep on going. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Absolutely. So let's see here. Next up, we've got, I have a gaming channel. I have a gaming channel. My trailer is getting views, but it's targeting the wrong people. My uploads are not getting views. What should I do? If you have a trailer and it's bringing in the wrong people, then in that case, you might want to unlist your trailer. If it's, you know, if you've made it public on your channel. So if you have a trailer on your YouTube channel and you've made it for the purpose of putting in that spot on your channel page, then in that case, it should be unlisted anyway. So just, you know, have it unlisted, and then you just use it as an insert there for the sake of giving people context that do land on your channel page, that watch that want to, you know, learn more about what it is that you're doing, and, you know, how your channel is going to benefit them and all that good stuff. If you're doing it for the sake of, you know, having it in that spot, then in that case, I would just unlist it anyway, and then just have it only in that spot, so only people hitting your channel page sees it. Let's see here as we keep on going. Let's see here. Get business credit, says Nick. Is it worth it to start an Instagram account? One thing that I recommend is if you have like if you have like a channel name specific, like yours is Get Business Credit. So with that, if you can find that and it's available on Instagram and you can kind of secure the brand across, different social media platforms, I would get the accounts even if you're not using them right now. And the reason for that is because, it'll prevent other people from securing those accounts, for their brand, to where when you finally get around to doing TikTok or Instagram or whatever the thing is, then, in that case, if somebody else takes it, it's not going to be available for you to even have the option. So because of that, I would absolutely just get the account. But that doesn't mean that you necessarily have to start uploading to it. But what you want to think about is, the people that I'm trying to reach, like in your case, right? You're teaching people about business credit. So what you got to think about is, okay, are there business people on Instagram that I can reach with my content? If so, then maybe I should start, taking some clips out of my YouTube content, uploading it as YouTube Reels, and start trying to grow an audience there as well, just so I can, use that as a way to market my business and help, generate more leads and income from what it is that I'm doing. Let's see here. The Mysterious Husky says, I'm thinking about switching to a cooking channel. I need to come up with a good name. And do they do good on YouTube? Cooking channels thrive on YouTube. Absolutely. Like YouTube is a great place. And the reason, Viper, Man About Tech in the house. What's up, my dude? Hope that you're doing fantastic. Thank you for swinging by. Hope you're doing awesome. So what you want to do is you just want to make sure that you are, what was that question? Give me 1 second going down to it. Let's see, your cooking channel. Yeah. So with the cooking channel, just make sure that, you do all the best practices in terms of, good titles, doing the research about what it is that you're going to make first, things like that. In your case, you might also want to look into Google Trends. Anybody that makes cooking food. Yeah. Woo. That's kind of damn having. If anybody wants to make cooking videos, then in that case, you definitely want to make sure that you are paying attention to Google Trends, because then you'll see, trends in the cooking world as well. So like, for example, I was just kind of looking around there the other day around cooking and recipe type content, and I found that people were looking for like coffee cake stuff. So like, and it was like a 300 or 400% breakout increase on coffee. I think it was coffee cake. But you just want to make sure that you're looking for those types of things. Oh, let's see here as we keep on running down the list. Okay. Yeah, cooking shorts, that'd be a great way to get into it. But, that's another thing, with all this stuff is figuring out like, hey, do I want to do short form content? Do I want to do long form content? Do I want to mix the two? Like, what do I want to be known as? Like, how do I, like which content type is best for me? All of those things are all decisions that, that we all have to make. Let's see here. So as we keep on going through our list, next up we have Hoik MKDS says that they do gaming content. They make mods, showcase mods, general YouTube growth stuff. And the question, emojis, are they helpful in both title and descriptions? Descriptions, yes, because they can bring attention to, specific things. Emojis, they can sometimes be helpful, other times not. I mean, really the actual title and thumbnail are going to be way more important than an emoji that you're going to use. But in descriptions, they can be helpful just to kind of, help break things down into sections and things like that without filling it with just a bunch of random characters. It just makes it cleaner because, like search engines, for example, like they read some of that stuff. So because of that, if you just fill it with a bunch of like hyphens, then in that case, that's something that they have to read and it just kind of pollutes the whole thing. So just having a little emoji and then, that is like one section and then another emoji is another section. Those types of things are great ways to be able to do that. The Mysterious Husky, thank you for the super chat and the kind words. Super appreciated. Mark Hulitz, Calming Anxiety. What's up, man? Hey, this guy's a great channel. If you are into like listening to guided meditations, things like that, excellent stuff over there. Let's see here. It says, just sending a thank you for the review recently. Both YouTube channel and podcast are doing well, and now an app. Oh, nice. Stay awesome, Nick. You stay awesome too, man. Keep crushing it. You're coming in. You're like, I got this great podcast. Now I'm doing the YouTube channel. Now we're building an app. Like you're coming through steamrolling, man. I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. So let's see here. Next up, we have, and this one's going to be pulled from the forum here. We have RR Primetime KD says that they have a mobile reaction channel. The goal is to get 100 subs by the end of the year. Question is, how is it that I went from over 180 plus views on one of my reaction videos to now getting nearly past 5 views? What caused me to have this massive drop? Is it because I'm on a mobile, or is it because I'm not that entertaining anymore? So it has nothing to do with you being on a mobile device. So Mr. Beast, as one example, he grew his YouTube channel to like 100 or 200,000 subscribers just on his phone. I have a video on my channel of Chris over at Retired Working for You, who grew his YouTube channel to over 100,000 subscribers in 10 months on a mobile device. So, it's not, the phone isn't the limitation. When you're making content for YouTube, it doesn't matter, what you make it on. You could have, like a red camera, like a red cinema camera, which is like a really nice, like, extremely expensive camera. And, you can make content with that, but if the content's not good, then, the actual tool that you're using to make that content doesn't add any value to what it is that you're doing. So, your phone, if you take somebody that's good at making videos, they can make a great video with a phone, just like they can make a great video with a piece or with a, with an actual camera. So it's not, don't look at your mobile device as a limitation, please, because it's not. Outside of that, in terms of why your video went from getting, about this many daily views to now getting like 5 daily views, is because when you first publish that video, YouTube is testing it against the people that are most likely to watch your content. This is really important for everybody to listen to, just based on how YouTube works in general. So when you first publish your video to YouTube, what happens is, based on the people that have just recently interacted with your content or watched videos on your channel that are, topically similar, those sorts of things, YouTube will show your content to the people, we'll just call it the core, the people that are, the most likely to enjoy that piece of content, that have interacted with your content recently, or that have been looking around for content like that recently on YouTube, or been watching other content like that recently on YouTube. We'll call that the core, right? The people that are just like hot for that type of content. And then based on how those people respond, if they respond positively, then it's going to, go out to, another group of people. And then based on how they respond, then it's going to go out to another group of people. Now, here's where the whole thing ends up getting, I don't know if difficult's the right word, but this is where the whole thing gets, where you'll start seeing views fall off. And this is why typically when you have tons of views on a video and tons of impressions on a video, that's why it's typically harder to keep a strong audience retention. That's why it's typically harder to keep a high click-through rate. It's because as YouTube starts showing it to more and more people, those more and more people are less qualified to be an ideal person for your content. So because of that, as people start interacting with it, as they start responding less, then YouTube will start not shutting the video down, but as people start responding less, then YouTube's going to stop showing it to people that are not as qualified to see it, because those people are just not responding like the core group did. So, when you have your videos fall off like that, then, that's essentially what's happening. And we all go through that. So that's why when you publish a video, you'll typically see that huge spike at the beginning, in your stats. Like if you track it over a 7-day or a 28-day period, you'll typically see that big spike at the beginning, and then it'll start to like taper off. Sometimes it'll taper off and still be bringing in a decent amount of, average daily views. Sometimes it'll taper off for a little bit and then start taking off again. And then other cases, it'll taper off and then it'll start dropping. But the idea is that initial spike, is usually the one, that is pretty solid on the channel. But keep in mind, like if you have people coming into your content, they were enjoying your videos, things like that, even though it's kind of died off right now, just keep in mind that, it is possible, if people did respond positively to that content, that it might lift up in the future as well. Because as long as people keep responding to it, YouTube will continue to keep showing it to people over time. And then once they find that pocket of people that start responding to it at a higher rate, then that can cause the videos to kind of come back to life, so to speak. Also keep in mind that if you are publishing your videos on a regular basis and then you kind of scale back on that, then, you might see numbers drop as well, because then you're not publishing as much new content, which means that it's not getting in front of as many of those core viewers to help YouTube identify, the right people for it, things like that. But that also means that you're not suggesting as much of your own content as well. So because of that, when you're not publishing as much, then you can also see, numbers drop a little bit as well. And sometimes a lot. I mean, it just kind of depends on what type of channel you have and where you're getting most of your traffic from and that sorts of thing. Let's see here. So does it matter? Also, does it matter when I go live for my live streams, even this early? It does matter. So what you want to do is you want to go into your YouTube analytics, and you want to look and see, they show you that graph of when, your viewers are most online, and you want to go live. If you're going live, you want to go live when people are most online. So if you're publishing a piece of video content, you can go like an hour before, just a little bit, like right before it's like that dark purple. You can do it that way. But if you're doing a live stream, you want to hit it right when it's, right when it jumps into that purple. So they're already online. Nelda's life journey says, I followed your channel some of the time. I want my channel to grow because I want to help those who are more in need in case my channel will grow. Let's see here. I followed your channel some of the time. I want my channel to grow because I want to help those who are more in need in case my channel will grow. I'm not 100% sure if that was just a question or a statement, what was being said there. But thank you for following the channel. Thank you for the super chat. And in terms of wanting your channel to grow, like absolutely, like that's the thing, right? That's what we're here to talk about today. Everybody that's hanging out here today, you know, we all want our channels to grow. We all want, you know, we all want to have an impact in what it is that we're doing. You know, we all want to, you know, just enjoy, you know, what it is that we're putting out onto YouTube as well. But that, you know, it's what we're all, you know, we all want that same thing because, you know, when we're public, I see it, Doug. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Like we, you know, like we all, when we're making videos and stuff, like we all want to, you know, just kind of, you know, make our content and publish it and have people come in and watch it and be like, hey, that was a great video. And, you know, all of that stuff. So, you know, it's part of the gig. So because of that, you know, just make sure that you're following best practices, make sure that you're keeping an eye on how much people are clicking on your content compared to the amount of impressions that you're getting. Make sure you're paying attention to how people go through your videos. YouTube has something called the audience retention reports. Make sure you're paying really close attention to that because that's kind of like the roadmap to the promised land, so to speak. Like if you can, you know, keep people watching your content and watching more content instead of just one video, those sorts of things, then, you know, then your channel's going to end up doing well. Let's see here. Please tell us how the super chat message is popping up. So I can do that actually with any chat here. So how we do this is I use StreamYard to live stream this. Like if I put this view on right here. So basically this is the interface here for StreamYard. And all I have to do, you'll see comments rolling down right here. You'll see comments rolling down here, and then you'll see comments rolling down over here as well. This one is a new tool that I'm testing right now. This one here is YouTube chat. This one over here is StreamYard. So what I do in order to get the StreamYard to show up is I just click on whatever comment it is, and then it pops up on screen just like this. But that's at StreamYard.com is the tool that I use for this, for the live streams. So next up, we have Rare Blend. Rare Blend says, hey, Nick, love your channel. So after 9 months, not getting any views. I have one video with almost 10,000 views, but only 40 on others. Help, please. Okay, so Rare Blend, what you want to do is you want to go into that video that has almost 10,000 views, and you want to spend some time in your analytics. The reason for that is because there are clues all over that video. So in addition to your analytics, right, because the analytics are a reflection of how people responded to what it is that you're doing, right? But it just gives you, you know, the numbers behind how people are responding. So you want to go in and you want to look and you want to say, okay, you know, my click-through rate on this was this compared to, you know, the amount of impressions when I first published this video, you know, how many impressions did I get in order to get to certain view counts, those sorts of things. How long did people watch this video? How many people made it to the end of the video? That's called a complete rate. Once people got to the end of the video, how many people were clicking on the end screens of this video, that sort of thing. How much was people sharing this video? So you want to look at those numbers, and then you want to take a step back, right, from those numbers. And what you want to do then is you want to say, okay, people clicked on this one more. Why? Why do I think people clicked on this one more? Was it because of the actual topic of the video? Was it that, you know, something that I focused them on in the thumbnail? Was it, you know, the title and the specific words that, you know, I was highlighting in the title? When they did click on the video, and let's say you have good audience retention on that, then go in and start looking. Okay, how did I start this video? What did I say after I started? Did I, you know, like, what are the things that I'm doing here that I'm not doing in some of my other content? And start paying attention to all of the details, things even like your tone. Like when you're communicating through the camera in that video compared to, you know, the other videos that you've published, you know, like, is your tone similar, right? Like those types of things matter as well. So just make sure that you're digging deeply into that video that got 10,000 views, because it's got clues all over it. You just have to go into the numbers, see, you know, why that video performed better. Look at, you know, where you got your views from, all that good stuff. You can see that in your traffic sources report, but go in, figure out why that video performed better than the other ones. And then you can even use the compare feature as well in your analytics to where you can compare that video directly against other videos. You're going to start seeing some things, you know, kind of jumping out at you when you do that. But basically you want to figure out why that one did well by the numbers, but you also want to just spend tons of time trying to come up with theories on why you think that people responded better to that one. Once you have the numbers on why that video did better, you want to spend some time coming up with theories on why you think somebody might have responded better. The people that saw that might have responded better. And then you want to start testing those theories against new videos that you publish. And by doing that, you're going to start uncovering things with your channel. Hey, when I make videos, where I kind of frame things in this way, people respond more. When I start my videos like this, people typically watch them for a longer period of time. When I start my videos like this, people typically leave right away, right? When I have this type of music, people stay. When I have this type of music, people leave. When I do this, you know what I mean? So what you want to do is you just want to use all the numbers that YouTube gives you and as like a guide on like, okay, people really responded here and here. So why now do I think people really responded here, right? And then you want to start testing that with each new video that you publish. Let's see here. We got that. Let's see here. What do you use reading the stream? StreamYards allow you to link your screen, or do you have that 10K biz StreamYard? So by reading the streams, I don't know if you mean like the actual chat itself. But the StreamYard account that I have, because, they're a sponsor here, so they hooked me up with, with my account. I used to pay for it, but, of course they comped that once they started sponsoring the channel. But for which account they gave me, I'm not 100% sure. But basically for, all of the chats and stuff that I'm reading, I just, those are just showing up in here, and then I just click on them for them to show up on the screen. And let's see here. Get Business Credit says, do me a quick channel review for my buddy. I'm trying to get him to do a super quick review channel with you, radical marketer for a buddy of mine. So I'm not doing channel reviews during the live stream today. However, you're a channel member. So, just make sure that, your channel, like for the person, like if you're trying to do it for radical marketer, then that radical marketer needs to be a channel member in order to get the review. Let's see here. Rare Blend, my pleasure. So let's see here. Hey, thanks. I appreciate it. Rock Climbing Grandma, hope that you're doing fantastic. Welcome to the stream today. Welcome to Saturday. Hope that you're doing fantastic. So next question that we have here is from Pieces to Props. Pieces to Props says that they make props for popular movies and using EVA foam. And the goal of the channel is to eventually make some cash, but also importantly, to have fun teaching. Most importantly, have fun teaching people. Question about my content. My channel is mostly how to make certain things, but then I add an idea for more content that would be like about the prop I just made, like a background on it. Like I made the Halo energy sword for my next video. What would be, let's talk about Halo energy sword. Hold on. Sword, my next video would be, let's talk about Halo energy sword. Does this seem like a good idea, or is it not in line with my content, with my how-to content? So one thing that's important to figure out is why people are coming to you for your content. In some cases, it's strictly for like, hey, I want to learn how to build this thing, or I want to learn how to do this thing. In other cases, it's a mix of, hey, I just love the community here, and I want to learn how to do this thing, and this content creator is awesome. In other cases, it's like, hey, this is just informative, I dig it there. In other cases, it's like, hey, this just makes me laugh, so I'm just coming in here, anytime I need to laugh. Like Ryan George, for example. I watch him because I think he's hilarious. I enjoy his, the angle that he takes on his comedy. But I love watching his content. But if he were to have a video that was just him on a vlog going on holiday, I don't love his content that much that I would watch that. He's awesome, but I just don't love his content that much that I would spend my time watching that vlog compared to the skits that he does that I find gut-splittingly hilarious. So, just figuring out why people are coming to you. But one of the ways is important, but one of the ways that you can do that is by testing. So when it comes to these video ideas that you have, to where it's like, hey, let me talk about this, this other, let me talk about the background behind this thing I made. What you might want to think about there is like, okay, I'm going to make that video and I'm just going to see how people like it. That's the first approach. But then you also want to make sure that you're thinking like, okay, if I'm reaching builders here, if I'm reaching people that are into building this stuff, how can I frame this video around something about the build? Because you're talking about, hey, let's talk about Halo energy sword, but you might want to do like a behind the scenes of building a Halo energy sword type of thing. And then there you could actually have it. And then you could be talking to them about, what it is, that inspired you to build that specific thing and, the details of the sword itself. So just think about, who it is that you're reaching, think about why it is that they might be coming to you. And then try to, try to create a piece of content that still lands them in the right spot when they, click on your videos. Aroma Talks says, here drinking my black tea while listening to Nick. I appreciate you big time. Thank you for swinging by the chat. Hope that you're doing awesome. Hope that you're enjoying that tea. So next up on the list here, we have Moose 177. Tell you what, Moose, your name, who? So it's like MOO or M00SE177. So Moose, I'm telling you, when your channel gets big and you're like talking to people and they're like, hey, what's your YouTube channel? You're going to have a lot to explain here, because you're going to be like, well, it's Moose 177, but you spell Moose with 2 zeros. And by that, I mean M00SE177, right? So like, you're going to have a lot of explaining to do there. But anyway, you do gaming content, and the goal of the channel is I want to be the resource for information about Yu-Gi-Oh trading card game and fun Pokemon challenge content. The question is, to build a gaming channel, is it okay to build around 2 games? I provide different value for each game, but I use the content from my Twitch where I play both games. Would this hurt my channel if I make content about 2 games? Not necessarily. Like, if the games are commonly played together, then in that case, not that big of a deal. If you have a Twitch following to where people are coming in because they like enjoy you, so they keep coming back to your streams because they love how you play the game, then in that case, doing the 2 games on YouTube is also fine, because you'll probably pick up a similar audience. I would even cross-pollinate in terms of telling your Twitch people to come over to YouTube so that YouTube can start getting some data on them and the type of content they respond to positively, so that they can start finding more people on the platform similar to those people. I would take that approach in terms of bringing those people over, so that right out of the gate you have a better I don't want to say connection, but the content that you're publishing, you already have an audience for it, is what I'm getting at. So so that would be the approach that I would take in your case. White Noise Studio, what's up, man? Hope that you're doing fantastic today. Fantastic, awesome, all of that good stuff. Let's see here. So next up on our list here, we have Zeppelin 3D. Let's see here. So Get Business Credit says, I gave you $500 super chat total. You can't just review quickly. Radical Marker. He's a buddy of mine, but okay. Well, the thing is like this live stream, when I do the reviews, it slows everything down. People end up leaving. New people that are coming in, they end up leaving, all that good stuff. So it really just kind of brings the whole thing to a screeching halt. So that's why I stopped doing the channel reviews during the live streams and just moved them over to the member stuff, is because of that. Let's see here. So as we keep on going, let's see here. I make 3D printing. Oops, no. Okay, so 3D printing. Says to make 3D printing, the goal of the channel is to make 3D printing simplified, educating others on 3D printing machines, design, and materials. The question, I've been posting both shorts and standard content. I've noticed that most of my subscribers come from my shorts form content. Should I double down on short form with the hope of pivoting to long form content in the future, or continue on the current path? This is where deciding on what it is that you want to do is really important. So the thing with shorts is they can be crazy effective for growing your audience. But the thing to think about is just making sure that it's the right audience that you're trying to, get in front of, or that you're trying to grow your channel by, and to make sure that, you want to commit to doing the short form content. And also, if you're doing long form content, you can use it as a way to, just spike views here and there, have a little bit of growth spurts, things like that. And, it's also proven that, in some cases, people will, as long as you do it correctly, some people will jump from short form content to the long form content. But the idea is to think about like what you want to do, right? So like, do you want to make a bunch of shorts and just do that? Do you want to upload, long form content to YouTube and do that? Like, what's the thing that you want to do? And I would focus on that as the primary. And then of course, do the other things as like an experimental. So, here, if you're like, hey, I'm hoping to do long form content in the future, then in that case, you should just go ahead and just start practicing publishing long form content on the channel so that you can start, working that skill and building that muscle, so to speak. Right. And then if you want to also do shorts, then what I would do in this situation is I would say, okay, I like doing shorts. I like doing the long form content. Why don't I just make a channel where I just do shorts on that channel? And then over here, I do the long form content. So this one is going to be that quick hit in terms of like, hey, I'll probably have some of these shorts take off. I'll probably get a lot of traction over here. And then you have the long form channel, which might take a little bit longer to get going, but then you can start building the bridge between the two eventually, once you do start getting the, once you start getting the whole ball rolling on the shorts channel, then you can use that as a way to try to send people over to the long form channel as well. That's what I would do for now. Down the road, one thing that, hey, get business credit, no problem, man. Down the road, one thing that, once YouTube, kind of splits everything up in the analytics side, things like that, to where you can have just a clearer picture of things, then in that case, maybe cross-pollinating just between the different types of content might be a good fit. But for now, if your channel was mine, I would just consider one, what I want. Two, I would say if I'm going to do both, then I'm going to toss some, if I'm going to go hard on both, then I'm going to do shorts over here on this channel. I'm going to do long form content on this channel.
If you're enjoying the show, remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend right now.
All right. So let's see here. We've got Simply Small Engine Repair. Whispers from the Dark. Good morning from Thailand. So let's see here. Simply Small Engine Repair says that they have a repair guide channel. Gold channel, simply showing people that you can repair lawnmowers, chainsaws, and more without expensive tools. And the question, what's the best way to manage YouTube money? Does YouTube do 1099 or W-2? So YouTube will send you out or you can actually get a 1099 from YouTube. They're doing a different thing now as well, actually. It's actually royalties now is how they're paying things out. So it's actually changed, but they're doing things as royalties now. So when it comes to this, like what I recommend, because, everybody that watches this, we all live in different areas and stuff. So because of that, I just recommend that you talk to like your tax person about the best approach for, managing what it is that's coming in from YouTube. Because in addition to like what YouTube pays out, like in your case, if you're doing like small engine repair stuff, there's a really good chance that you're also selling some stuff, some like Amazon things as an affiliate. If that's the case, then, then you're also going to have a 1099 that you can get from Amazon as well. And then you're going to have to combine those. And then, that's additional income that's going to, increase, the income that you're responsible for when it comes to your taxes. Let's see as we keep on going. Okay, randomness is the next question here. Randomness says that they upload when they have time. The type of channel is a family channel, pranks, and vlogs. Goal of the channel is to gain subs. Question, I fell victim to consuming too much content that I actually produce. How do I snap out of it? Give yourself dedicated time to do everything. I think a lot of people fall into what it is that you, I think a lot of people fall into consuming too much content. It's really easy to do. There's so many awesome content creators out there, so much great content that we get to watch on a regular basis everywhere, not just on YouTube, but on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram, on Netflix, on Hulu, on HBO, everywhere. There's just so much awesome content, being published that it's hard to make sure that you stay focused. So what I recommend that you do if you are having those problems is uninstall the YouTube app from your phone. Just completely uninstall it. If your problem is Netflix, uninstall Netflix. If your problem is, something else, like wherever it is that you're consuming all that content, uninstall it. Or you can block it in your browser if you're doing it mostly on your computer. But the reason for that, in terms of like just uninstalling it or blocking it, is because, the best way to, it's kind of like, if you're trying to eat better, right? Like when you're at the grocery store, you just don't buy the stuff that you are, that isn't good for you. And then that, forces you to eat better when you're at home. So, this is kind of the same approach in terms of like, hey, if you're just consuming too much and you're not making anything, then in that case, uninstall the things that you're consuming, or the places where you can consume it from, so that you don't have that, so you don't have that option. That's the hardcore way to do it. Another way to do it is you can set up limitations. I know like YouTube has the option, for example, if you're consuming that content on YouTube, to where they'll notify you after certain periods of time if you've been consuming videos too long and that kind of stuff, just to help you, manage your time a little bit better. Other things that you could do, and this, I know this sounds like extremely rigid, but another thing that you could also do is actually schedule your consumption time to where it's like, hey, I'm still going to watch videos, still going to, do all that stuff. But, because you got to enjoy yourself, right? But it's like, hey, I'm still going to do all this stuff, but I'm only going to do it, before the hours of this and this, or I'm only going to do it after the hours of this and this, or only after I get my videos made for the week or the videos made for the month, or, whatever your schedule is. I'm only going to do it after those things are done as a reward for getting my stuff done that I need to do. Brendan Hasty.
Welcome to the Nimminati.
Welcome to the Nimminati. Make sure next time you get the chance, you go to nimminvip.com. That's going to redirect you to our members only Facebook group. When it redirects you there, you want to make sure that you fill out all the information on the way in, because that's how I verify that you are a channel member after the stream today. Let's see. Next, we have paleo analysis. Well, I'm hitting like wrong buttons all over the place today. Paleo analysis says, I have a niche pretty audience, paleontology, and I've started to grow it a bit. Sometimes people ask me questions in the comments, and I have just replied, but I'm thinking of actually making shorts to answer. That's clever. You know, you can do that through shorts, or you could also do it through stories as well. But keep in mind that when you do that, the people might not necessarily see those shorts that are asking the question, or the stories, whichever way that you go. But that does, like, if somebody's asking you that question, that lets you know that there's at least interest in that. So, you know, just taking that, few minutes to put together a short for that question could create like a whole other, behemoth of content for you. If you're going to do that on like another channel or something, that could create like a whole other thing of content for you just based on the questions that people ask you. I've made an entire live stream doing that. I've made an entire podcast doing that. A lot of my YouTube channel is that as well. So, that's definitely a great way to go. And that's following the recommendation by YouTube or how YouTube works in terms of the algorithm follows the audience. Like, that is just nailing that to a T, because what you're doing there is you're taking each of those questions that come in, you're turning that into content of some kind, and you're putting it out there on the internet for the people that are, enjoying your type of content. So I think that's a fantastic, approach. Let's see here as we keep on going. I'm growing YouTube is slow time. What's up, Chris? Hope you're doing fantastic, man. Nice to see you in here. So yeah, if your growth is slow on YouTube, then of course you need to make sure that you're paying attention to, to your analytics and trying to figure out, why it's slow. And then of course, like I was saying before, look, you have your analytics that you're looking at, but those numbers are just representations of how people are responding to what it is that you're doing. So because of that, you have to sit back and give yourself that time to think about, okay, this is why I think people are responding to this. So let me make another video so I can test to see if my theory is correct. And if it works out to where it is correct, test it again to make sure, and then test it like, one more time, maybe two more times, just to make sure that, that you're certain that the approach that you're taking is the right approach. Clay Mir,
Welcome to the Nimminati.
welcome to the Nimminati. Same with you. Make sure that next time you get the chance, you go to nimminvip.com, members only Facebook group there. And make sure you fill out all the information on the way in, because that is how we verify that you are a member here after the live stream, and we will get you in there. If you're not a member, just as a heads up, because I usually have a nice wall of people that are trying to get in there after these streams. If you're not a member, don't even waste the time, because if you basically what I do is I look there and then I cross-reference that information with the members that are in the that are in the YouTube backend. And if they're not on that list, then they don't get in. So just a heads up, it'll be a waste of your time to do so. Let's see here. So let's see. You've helped me. Please make me grow. Only you can make you grow by taking the information that you hear during these live streams and other YouTube related information that you hear, and then your own experimentation and all that, and applying it to what it is that you're doing. Nobody from the outside. I mean, this is just life in general. Like nobody can, nobody's coming to save you, right? Like you got to do it yourself. Nobody's coming to save you. And if you are going to get help, you have to prepare for that opportunity. You have to prepare for opportunities to come, because if opportunities do come and they knock on your door and you're not prepared for those opportunities, then they're just going to go to another door. So because they're going to go to another door, they're going to evaporate. So because of that, you have to learn the process of, what it takes to get people to respond to the content that you're publishing to YouTube or any other platform. Like, it doesn't matter if it's YouTube, doesn't matter if it's Instagram, doesn't matter if it's TikTok, it doesn't matter if it's Snapchat, it doesn't matter if it's Facebook, whatever. Like, you have to go through that process of whatever platform it is that you're trying to get attention on. You have to go through the process of learning how to work that platform. And every single time, what it comes down to is, I'm going to serve the audience that I'm trying to reach with this in the best possible way. If I'm making gaming content, I'm going to make some of the best gaming content on the platform. If I'm making recipes, these recipes are going to be delicious. The footage that I'm going to have in my videos is going to be awesome. It's going to make all this stuff look great. My thumbnails are going to look fantastic. And if I can't make them look fantastic, I'm going to learn how to make them fantastic, right? So you have to take that responsibility. There's a book called Extreme Ownership. Awesome book. But with extreme ownership, like the idea there is that, everything falls back on you. So even things that seemingly are outside of your control. And I mean, of course, there are always exceptions, but, in a lot of cases, like all of the things that don't happen, in a lot of cases, it's because of us, right? So, so definitely, learn how to do all the things. If you focus your efforts on understanding YouTube, understanding what the people that you're trying to connect with enjoy, and developing the skills in order to make it in a way that those people will respond to in a positive way, you'll do fine, right? That's like the YouTube struggle in a nutshell, right? Is like, hey, I'm coming onto the platform, I'm doing the thing, I'm making videos about whatever it is that I'm making videos about. And in some cases, they'll start doing great right out of the gate. In other cases, it takes people some time to get going because they have to learn how to get that response from the people that YouTube is showing their content to. And if you can't learn how to get that response, then you're going to, be hitting walls all the time. So the best thing that you can do if your channel's stagnant, the best thing you can do is like roll up your sleeves and try to develop a better understanding of how to make videos, how to make titles, how to make thumbnails, how to use calls to action to get people to subscribe, to get people to watch more of your videos, things like that. Taking a bigger picture look at what it is that you're doing on YouTube. Like, for example, a lot of people that make YouTube videos, they just think about like YouTube and like, hey, I'm just making like a YouTube channel. But in reality, you're building an online brand. So since you're building an online brand, like if your channel's successful, it's going to turn into like a major asset for you. As long as you even halfway take the right approach to doing it, it's going to turn into a major asset for you. So because of that, it's really important to not think of it as like, hey, I'm just starting like a YouTube channel, but I'm building an internet brand. And when you start thinking that way, then right out of the gate, you start thinking bigger, which then will help you start making, bigger decisions towards, all the different things that you're trying to do. Let's see. So we've got Moose177 again. Moose, my man. Hope you're doing great. Says, okay. Says, I've been watching Nick for just over a year. I posted a video 3 days ago that gained 20 subscribers and 2.3 thousand views on a channel with less than 60 subs, thanks to thumbnail, search, title optimization. So thanks, Nick. High five, fist bump to you, Moose177, for taking action, right? So that's the thing that I was talking about before. Like, you got to apply everything, right? So high five and fist bump to you for taking that action. Nice job. Let's see. As we keep on going here, we had a few of these come in, so I'm going to get these addressed here, and then we'll move back over into the forum. Do you recommend sending a StreamYard live event to 3 collaborating YouTube channels at the same time? My channel and their channel at the same time? No, I recommend against that because it's duplicate content. So you might be able to get away with it, but it's better to play within the rules, right? So getting away with it isn't good. Like when you are streaming the same exact content out to multiple YouTube channels, what you're literally doing is, even though you're not going to see it this way from your perspective, because you're putting out content for the audience, you're collaborating with all 3 people, and it's going out on all 3 channels, from the system, you're still spamming, right? Because you're putting that same exact piece of content on 3 different channels instead of focusing everybody on one. So what I recommend that you do is either split your live stream up into 3 parts and jump from, channel to channel to channel, or have one channel on 1 week, another channel on another week, another channel on another week, and then just kind of keep, rinsing and repeating that process instead of, trying to push it out to all 3 channels. So what you want to look into, if you just go to Google, just start looking for information around duplicate content on YouTube, and that will lead you to the right information in terms of you making sure that you don't violate that. The unknown pie, the unknown pie. Hey, I have a new YouTube channel and I have a dilemma. The first 4 videos are ready and uploaded as unlisted. Do you think that unlisted videos lose momentum if you make them public 1 to 2 months after uploading them? No. So according to YouTube, when you upload a video as unlisted, nothing matters until you hit the publish button. Once you hit the publish button, that's when it starts counting. So because of that, you are good to go in terms of just uploading those, or publishing those whenever you like. If you're worried about it, all you have to do, of course, it's only 4 videos. So if you're worried about it, just go and just delete those videos out and then just, upload them fresh, ready to go, and just start publishing, start publishing now, right? So, download those or just delete those off of the channel, and then publish that first out of the 4 videos, and then start getting yourself into a good cadence, right, with your actual publishing schedule. Arjuna J says, thanks for the help, Nick. Another question: how important are tags in SEO optimization? My keyword drank well on TubeBuddy, but I can't find any related tags. So according to YouTube, tags are not as important as they used to be. They don't say don't use any tags at all. What they say is to use like misspellings and things like that. But when you think about misspellings, that's also something that, it's like, hey, why does a misspelling will show up, but a or a misspelling will give context, but the actual word won't, right? So there's kind of two ways to look at that. But the idea is you want to focus on the things that matter the most, right? So tags in terms of order of importance, of course, the topic, like, if we just think in order of importance of things that you need to make sure that you're focusing on, the topic is the most important, because if you're making a piece of content that, just doesn't have any interest at all to the people that you're trying to reach, then of course you're kind of cutting yourself off there. And then it comes down to the thumbnail, of course, because you got to be able to help people identify that what you're making is something they might be interested in and also grab their attention with it. And then your title, of course, just gives more context. It's compelling to help, bring people into what it is that you're doing. Those three things are at the very top, right? Your external packaging of your video, the stuff that people see from the outside before they know how awesome your video is. Next, of course, is once you have your topic, your thumbnail, and your title, then of course the next thing in the list is actually a description. So, when you are filling out your description, make sure that you're paying really close attention to the first 2 lines of your description, because some of that shows up in YouTube search as a snippet. For now, they're actually testing a different search results page, and with that different search results page, it actually removed those snippets They removed those snippets completely. But for now, YouTube says to make sure that you put a keyword that you are trying to target, and of course you want to do this in natural language, but putting the keyword that you want to target in your description close to the top. So for example, if you're targeting, in your case, let's say that you're doing a video called, something about the Rodecaster Pro, then in that case, somewhere in your description, you would want to make sure that you're writing, Rodecaster Pro, or anything that you're using to frame that video around the Rodecaster Pro. Because what you're doing in that situation is through your title and through the description, you're giving YouTube context to what your video is about. And most importantly, you're helping the viewers from the outside identify that your content is something that they might care about. In addition to that, tags, right? Because we said, we're going to order of importance here. So you have everything else, and then you have your tags. So, with your tags, don't spend a ton of time on them. You're already using TubeBuddy. So what you want to do is you want to say, okay, I'm going to use some tags here. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to think to myself, okay, is this tag relevant to the video that I'm publishing? Yes. Okay, I'll add it. No, not going to add that one. What about this one? Yes. Okay, I'm going to add this one too. And just go through just really quick, add the ones that you think are relevant, and then you're done with your tags. Don't spend a ton of time on your tags. Okay. So here's a little inspiration for everybody here really quick. So Naked History says, after no new subs for a week, just had my biggest gain since starting. 5 new subs in 24 hours. Small wins. Absolutely. They all add up, right? And, like a lot of people, when they hit those 0 days, especially when you're first getting started, those 0 days are rough. But when you hit those 0 days, it's like, oh, man. But then, that little spike afterwards, it's like, woohoo. Let's see. We've got Cynthia Gillane.
Welcome to the Nimminati.
Welcome to the Nimminati. Make sure that you go to nimminvip.com. Nimminvip.com will redirect you to our members-only Facebook group. Make sure you fill out all the information on the way in, because that's how I verify that you are a member on the way in. All right. So let's see. That's like my 100th let's see during this live stream, I think. So Ned Cod M is the YouTube channel here. They upload daily content. Type of channel, gaming meme videos. The goal of the channel is to become the most popular memer. Let's see, that's just fun to say. Memer. Hey, what's up, memer? Right? Like that could be like a whole thing. Memer. So let's see, like a little character, a little meme character, right? That its communication is memer. Kind of like Smurfs is like, how they use Smurf in that way. Like the meme animal could use memer in that way. So sorry. So derailed with D's not even here and already getting derailed, already. Okay. So the question here is, I pop out until 5,000, but then my channel started dropping and dropping. The views drop, subs drop. So everything's dropping out on the channel. So what you got to do is, if you made it to 5,000 subscribers on your YouTube channel, you got to go and start looking at what it was that you were doing, the type of content you were publishing, the things that you were publishing about, how you were structuring the videos, what you were doing when the videos first started, how you were taking people through the process, what your thumbs look like, what the titles were structured like, all of those things. Start comparing what you were doing before when things were working compared to what it is that you're doing now. So for example, I'll give myself as an example here. So my numbers are down right now. The reason for that is just inconsistency. I don't publish as much as I used to and all that. So because of that, my numbers are down. I'm not suggesting as much, traffic to myself, that kind of stuff. And when you're not publishing as much, then what happens is just as in general, like I'll get, like my browse traffic goes down, and this isn't just on my channel. Like this happens, like pretty much across the board. Like my browse traffic will go down, my suggested traffic will go down. Search is always stable, but suggested and browse go down. But then once I kick the engine back up, I start publishing on a more regular basis, all that stuff. Then everything starts to come back up. So I've been through that process enough to know that and to understand that about my analytics and my channel. So what you need to do is get into that same place. So you can say, okay, when my channel's thriving, this is what's happening. For those of you that, hit those points where your channel's thriving, say this is what's happening. And then when your channel's not thriving, like these are the things that are different than when they are thriving. Next up. So we're cruising through these today. We're on question number 10 already. This is fantastic. Leroy Jenkins. So let's see. Dropping another let's see in here. Lakeside Trey says they upload when they have time. It's a gaming channel. The goal of the channel, it was initially just a hobby for fun. Let's do these in like a private eye voice. Let's try that. Let's see how that goes at the moment. So we're gonna do this in a private eye voice, like we're like a movie voiceover thing. Okay. It was initially just a hobby for fun, but thanks to following your tips, I've been able to grow my channel enough. It could get me through college without debt. Hey, first high five and fist bump to you on that one. Nice work. The question. The most frequent constructive criticism I receive of my videos is about my audio quality. I found a new mic I will be ordering, but I noticed my videos with live commentary recorder via the Windows game bar have a significant reduction in audio quality. What free alternatives for screen recording capture would you recommend for gaming channels who need to record audio and video at the same time? So if you're looking for free, and I'm not a voiceover detective person, but if I was, that's like all I got. So I apologize. So, okay. So when it comes to a free recorder for your games and your audio, if you want paid and you want the best, go with Camtasia. If you are looking for a free resource that'll get the job done, but you can't like zoom in and zoom out and highlight specific things and draw arrows on stuff and all that stuff, then in that case, you can just use OBS for that. And with OBS, you can actually bring your game screen in, and you can have like the little window, pop up where you have your camera source, and you can, just hit record, and it will record all of that stuff for you. Okay. Let's see. Simply Small Engine Repair says, I miss what I miss, guys.
Super chat.
Just talking about YouTube here, man. Just talking about YouTube. Talking about YouTube. And we were talking about you driving. Okay, so let's see here. So another question came in. I want to make sure that I get this one as well. This one's from Miriam's Mark Media. Says, I do a sketching show on my channel as an illustrator, but I pre-tape. Is it better to live stream in order to grab a bigger audience? Should I separate my web development videos on another platform? So yes, absolutely. If you're sketching, then I would have your web dev stuff on another video for sure, or on another channel without question. Because, you got to think of who it is that you're serving there. So if you were sketching things related to web development, then it's a little bit different. But if you are sketching, like art related things, but then you also do web development, then in that case, I would have a channel for the web development and have a channel for the sketching. In terms of it being better to live, I would do video content because video content typically gets better legs, so to speak, in terms of the overall performance typically on a channel. But I would also do some live streams as well for the sake of, the people that do want to come in and watch. I would have some just kind of like chill lo-fi music or something, or whatever music you're into, have that just kind of playing in the background a little bit while you're just kind of talking, with the people that are hanging out in your chat, and you're sketching it out. Maybe to make it even more fun, you could do something where you are, having them kind of direct, right? Like, okay, here's my character. If you're drawing people, like, here's my character. Should I put a helmet on him? Should I put a, face on him? Should I make him happy or sad? Or, just kind of do it that way to where, the audience gets to kind of help you morph whatever it is that you happen to be sketching. But overall though, between the two, I would separate web development and sketching for sure. First Class Gamer
Super chat
says, will it affect our YouTube growth if we upload content 2 to 3 times a week while streaming in between? I have a motivational gaming channel, but I think it's a solid question for any channel. Much love, Nick. First Class Gamer, thank you for the super chat. Says, will it affect our YouTube growth if we upload content 2 to 3 times a week while streaming in between? No. So if you upload video content 2 to 3 times a week, as long as that content performs, in terms of it's just competitive for the platform, then, those videos will get views, and then the live streams that you do in between will also get views. Keep in mind, me personally, I would not publish a video and then live stream on the same day. Reason for that is because, you'll be stepping on your own toes there. In some cases to where, like, I can actually track in my stats. I can actually track when I schedule my live streams. I can track when I actually start live streaming. In some of my videos, I can actually see that impact in my latest video, regardless of what that latest video is. I can, not always, but most of the time, I can also see an impact there as well. So, those types of things will happen. But if you're putting out that much content, you can absorb, some of that. But I wouldn't do it on the same day. Let's see here. Okay, got that one, got that one, got that one. Got that one about StreamYard. I've got that dilemma. Okay, we did that one. Got that one. And the super sticker from Maggie. Thank you, Maggie, for the super sticker there as well. And that has us all caught up. So I will jump back into the form over here. And we are going to go with question number 11 here is Delusional Bob. Well, Bob is delusional, just so everybody knows here. It's what Bob's saying here in the channel name. They do gaming content. And the goal of the channel is to build an income. And because it's something that I enjoy doing, it's a passion that I want to follow for a while now. So high five to you for, for being like, you know what, let me give this a shot. Says, hey, Nick, do I get more people to see my videos? How do I get more people to see my videos? My SEO and tags are all there. My audience retention is above 50%. My click-through rate is around 30%, but my impressions are low. What could I be doing wrong? Okay, so here's the thing. When it comes to the impressions that you're getting on your videos, when it comes to the audience retention that you're getting on your videos, if your impressions are very low, then what's happening is the people that YouTube is showing your content to, initially, maybe like a few people responded positively, but then they didn't respond, high enough, so to speak. So then YouTube, doesn't show as many people that content. Some things can help in terms of context. So for example, just make sure that, whatever it is that your game is about, make sure that you are using that, the game in there, maybe using some additional things in terms of the metadata, because YouTube's smart enough to figure out, or their system's smart enough to figure out what your video is about. But if you can kind of lead the way by helping it, by adding that metadata, that helps as well. By metadata, I just mean, having those right keywords in your title, having the right, information in your description to help the system better understand what it is that's going on. So there's a podcast from a guy named Christoph who actually works on the product development side of YouTube. And one of the things that he mentioned in that podcast, it was an AI podcast. And one of the things that he mentioned in there is he said, our system's great. It's really smart, but it's not perfect yet. So because of that, he encourages YouTube content creators to give that additional context to help their system out and help their system better understand what content is about at the time of publish. Because again, their system will figure stuff out. But when you can, kind of lead the way by helping, their system understand, by making sure that you're using the right metadata based around your video, or the right information based around your video in terms of your title and your description, then that's going to help them out as well. In terms of SEO, so how many people here are trying to get views from YouTube search? How many people here are like really like, hey, I'm going after YouTube search with a lot of the content that I'm putting out? If that's you, then let me know. Because I'm actually going to pull up here a oh wow, that's weird. My folders. Oh, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to pull up something here, and I've showed this here in a few different live streams. But for those of you that are going after YouTube search, here, give me 1 second, and I'm gonna pull this up so that you guys can see. Let's see. So if we go into here, go into B-roll, let's go into search. Okay. So for those of you that are making search-based content, just some information that I'm going to share with you here really quick, just because it's really important that you understand this, right? Because my purpose of being here every single Saturday is to help you get better on YouTube and to help you, understand the platform and understand, where it is that you're competing, right? So I want to make sure that I'm, sharing this kind of stuff with you as well. And I'll show this, from time to time in different live streams. But the idea is, again, just to help you better understand what's going on if you're trying to get views from search. So right out of the gate, hold on. So right out of the gate, one of the things they tell us in search is they say that videos are ranked based on a variety of factors, including, and this is all from the YouTube Creator Academy, by the way, which everybody here should go through. It's free. It's provided by YouTube. I've got a link to it down in the bottom of my video description of this stream right now. But they say videos are ranked based on a variety of factors, including how well the title, description, and video content match the viewer's query. So this very first step right here, that's why we're always saying, hey, make sure that you're including keywords in your titles, make sure you're including keywords in your description and everywhere else, for the sake of, YouTube having that context of what your video is about. Because if you match that query that people, what that means is if somebody searches for how to walk a dog and your video title has how to walk a dog in it, then just based on the exact match of that query, you're increasing your chances of showing up somewhere, maybe not at the top, but somewhere in those search results, just based on that exact match. From there, they say some tips. See what words people use to find your channel and traffic sources in YouTube analytics. Consider incorporating the most relevant search terms for each of your new videos. You can add them as titles and descriptions as long as they're accurate and not excessive. Write robust descriptions up to 1 to 2 paragraphs long if relevant. Brainstorm new video ideas by looking at search results for popular and less competitive queries. So if you're targeting search, but you're not getting a lot of traffic, this is really beneficial, because what this is telling you is that that you want to make sure that you're going after things that are getting searched for, enough, but that are also don't have tons and tons of videos for them. So TubeBuddy will help you with that. Another thing as well, and this is the most important out of all of this. So one of the things that they have here in their myth busting section is they say, if you look at what's being said here, it says the myth is my videos have fully optimized titles and descriptions. Why don't they rank higher? Which is kind of what your question said here. And the truth of this is YouTube considers many signals, including the watch time of a particular video for a particular query. And what that means is if somebody clicks on your video in YouTube search and they don't watch that video for a very long period of time, they feel that, hey, I click on this video doesn't seem to be giving me, what it is that I'm after for this result. So I'm going to back out of this video. I'm going to click on another one. Then what's going to happen is if they end up staying on that other one more than they stayed on yours, then in that case, that one's going to end up outranking you. Same exact thing goes with your click-through rate as well. The same exact thing goes with additional things that people do with your videos in YouTube search. So let's say, for example, somebody clicks on your video in YouTube search. They watch that video for a long, for almost the whole video, and then they click on an end screen because you've added, end screen elements that will take them to an additional video that would be relevant to that video that they're watching. So then they go and they watch that other video, and then they watch another video, and they subscribe to your YouTube channel, and they share, one of your videos out, that kind of stuff. That's a really great signal. And let's say that happens at scale. Then, and by scale, I mean that a lot of people do that. If that happens, then what's going to end up happening there is YouTube is going to start prioritizing your video because it's a very high performing video for that search query, for that search term, compared to the other videos that are there. So that's YouTube search in a nutshell. But just like every other feature on YouTube in terms of browse, suggested videos, and search, and the hashtags, the hashtag search result pages as well, everything is performance based, right? So like if your video performs in those surfaces, then, and by performs, I mean people are clicking on it a lot, people are watching it a lot, and then they're further engaging, then in that case, your videos are going to end up performing much better in search. But if people end up clicking on it, they watch it for a little bit, and then they end up, leaving, and they didn't really get what they wanted out of it, then your videos will end up not doing well in search. Okay, let's see here. Next on our list, that was another let's see here. Gonna start adding a counter, I think, a let's see here counter. Okay, so as we're going through this list, we've got Patrick here is next up on our list, and we have, says it's going to be a Minecraft channel, so I guess they're not doing it yet. Goal of the channel is 5,000 to get YouTube rank on Minecraft server. Oh, interesting. So that's an interesting purpose there. You're like, hey, I want YouTube rank on a Minecraft server. That's clever. How do I get big YouTube streaming? Streaming is a lot of fun to me, but every time I don't, I'm just on 0 views all stream. So what you want to think about is, when you're putting your thumbnails together, make sure that you're just thinking, okay, for these thumbnails, if somebody is interested in Minecraft, will this thumbnail help them identify while I'm streaming? Will this video help them identify that this is about Minecraft? Yes or no? If it's yes, 1,000% at a big size and at a small size, then in that case, then, your thumbnail's okay. Next, go to the title and say, okay, if my video or if my live stream were to show up on a YouTube homepage for somebody that loves Minecraft, who loves hanging out in Minecraft live streams and watching people build stuff, if it were to show up on their homepage, what about this title and thumbnail? What about these two things would make somebody be like, oh, I want to come in and hang out in this live stream? And if you cannot define that, then keep working on it until you can. But what you want to do is you want to be able to define, if YouTube shows this to somebody on a home page that did not expect to watch this content, they just logged on to interact with YouTube, watch some just random content, then why would this be important to them? Why would this make them click? Same exact thing goes to the recommendations, because as you're live, then you'll get, shown some recommendations as well, instances of suggested videos. So because of that, you want to also think the same exact thing. If somebody's watching another video and then they see my Minecraft video over here at a very small size, for mobile users, it's bigger, when they scroll down, but on a computer, at a very small size, is it still clear that this is about Minecraft? Is the title still something compelling when it is being shown in, when it's being cut off in the suggested sidebar? Okay. All right. We're just cruising right along here. Gonna change the next song because this one has vocals on it. Let's see here. There we go. Okay. So next up on our list here, we have Joel on Crypto. Joel on Crypto says that they do a crypto trading channel. The goal is to get views and subscribers and to promote my partner. The question: I have 4 RPM, while other similar channels in the same niche have 20 to 30 RPM. What am I doing wrong? So it just depends. So things that can impact your RPM, of course, if you're doing like CPM, that's different. But if you're doing RPM, they might be getting super chats, they might be getting memberships, they might be getting, applaud if they have that feature available. Those things all impact your RPM. So it could just be that kind of stuff. It can also be demographics, like, the people that are watching your videos might be geographically different than the people that are watching their videos. And because of that, they're getting higher CPMs on their videos. And since they're getting higher CPMs on their videos, then of course it's going to make their RPM higher. But if they have, that not better, but if they have that audience as well, that's in like higher tier countries, they're also, more likely to spend and that kind of stuff, which then of course will also drive up that RPM. Let's see. Moose Gaming says, thanks for your advice, Nick. I went and changed my name on all of my social media now to make it easier to describe. Nice. Love it. Yeah. You're going to thank yourself for that one, like later, right? Like once everything, is going like great on your channel, like the process with this stuff, just for those of you that are getting started here, like if you're, if you're in like the 500, to 1,000 subscriber range, just, say me, really quick, because, I just want to explain, actually, if you're in the, if you have under like 100,000 subscribers, just say me. And I'm going to guess that's probably, most of the people here with a handful of exceptions. But the idea is when you start making content, there's a whole bunch of things that are going to happen on your YouTube journey if things start going well on your channel, when things start going well in your channel that you don't really anticipate when you're first getting started. And that's why, like, channel names are important, and thinking of your YouTube experience as that you're creating for your viewers, thinking of that as more of like a brand thing that you're building for the internet instead of it just being like YouTube specific. That's why this is important, because when you first get started, you are going through those initial struggles of like, okay, I got to come up with video ideas. I'm trying to grow my channel, trying to just get attention, right? And then once you start getting the attention, then it's like, okay, things are starting to go well. Then you start picking up some momentum. Your average view count start rising, those sorts of things. And then that's where you start noticing your impact. Right. And I'm just talking about like how this journey goes. That's where you start noticing your impact, because then once you start getting those just a little bit higher view counts, then you'll start having people that will, start saying certain things in your comment sections in terms of just letting you know the value that you're bringing or how they're receiving that value. You'll start getting emails from time to time from people just saying how much they enjoy your content, things like that. But you start getting that feedback. And the really cool thing about that feedback is you can use that as fuel, right? Because it's like, sweet, people are loving this. So now I'm going to like double down. I'm going to start publishing more. I'm going to start, taking this even more seriously than I was before. So then you start doing that. And then when you start doing that, then, everything starts swelling, you start getting even more momentum, and then you start having people just start reaching out to you. So, one of the things that we always talk about is that, it's important to make sure that you're keeping brands in mind, and that, if you're wanting to get brand deals early, that you go out there and you start looking for brand deals. But if you focus all of your efforts on like, hey, I'm just trying to, get my momentum going on my YouTube channel and trying to grow my influence here. If you focus on that, then eventually, as you keep going through this process, you're going to start having people reach out to you. So just as an example, So I have a clips channel, right? It's got 6,000 subscribers on it, and it's just clips from this live stream. And, you know, I publish to it just from time to time. I actually just scheduled a nice handful of posts in there. But basically, like with that channel, I already have it, 6,000 subscribers. I already have companies reaching out through that business inquiry email. I have people reaching out wanting to sponsor content on that channel already at just 6,000 subscribers. So as you start going through that process and you start getting momentum, and people start noticing, then what's going to happen is you'll start eventually having, you know, companies start reaching out to you to where you don't even have to chase, you know, you don't even have to chase anybody because people start reaching out to you. But then you have other cool things start happening. And, you know, once you start getting that attention, you'll start having people wanting to collaborate with you. You'll start having people reach out to you for collaborations. When you start reaching out for collaborations, people are going to start paying more attention because you've kind of, you know, gained that credibility that, you know, hey, this person must be experienced because now they're getting, you know, this many average view counts, that kind of stuff. And then as you keep walking down that path, you'll also start having people reach out to you to show up on like podcasts and things like that. And this, my man Moose, is where the name change is going to be extremely beneficial for you because Moose Gaming is a lot easier to explain when you say at the end of podcast, this is what they say. Hey, so if people want to find out more about you, where do they go? What you would say now that you've changed it, you would say, just go to Moose Gaming 177 on YouTube. Right? It's a lot easier to say, a lot easier to explain, a lot easier to remember. If you could come up with something for that 177 to make it even easier to remember, that would be even better. But at the end of the day, right, just, you know, the fact that you've changed those from zeros to 2 O's, that's going to help you as you're going through that process for people being able to talk about you and recommend you to their friends, for, you know, companies to be able to help, you know, remember you easily. And for, if, you know, when you start going on podcasts, you start collaborating with other YouTubers, things like that, then it makes it easier for them to also, you know, mention you and for you to also mention your own channel as well. So that's why I wanted to talk about that, that journey. And just in terms of like, you know, when you're thinking about a channel name, you might not necessarily think about it being, you know, like that big of a deal, but it absolutely matters. So I have a friend of mine, he's starting a YouTube channel. And he's in the process right now. He just ordered like all of his gear and stuff. Super pumped that he's starting this channel. But you know, like for his channel name, like he spent a week on his channel name, just trying to come up with like a good name that's easy to remember, you know, all that kind of stuff. Just because, you know, the importance of, you know, of a channel name is definitely there in terms of, you know, checking it, making sure, because, you know, again, thinking on the I'm building an internet brand side of things, making sure that you get that name and that's available as the .com or, you know, some URL, making sure that you get the name on, you know, all the other social media platforms, all that stuff. It's all, you know, like it all matters. So, okay. Next up here on our list, we have Sales Copy Secrets. Sales Copy Secrets says, I'm switching between things here. There we go. Sales Copy Secrets says that they do educational copywriting content. The goal of the channel is to help people write better sales copy. Question: where do you back up your videos? I'm thinking of using a service like Odyssey. What do you think about using other video platforms like that for backup? Will it potentially hurt my YouTube channel? It does not hurt your YouTube channel. What I do for backups is I upload them to, like, all of my content is stored in Dropbox. And I also have content that is stored on external hard drives. So basically my typical process is, once I download like a finalized video, then I will drop that video into a drive, and then I'll back that drive up. So then I have 2 copies of that same thing. And just as a quick tip for you, it's more advantageous to get a dock, unless your computer does this, to get a dock where you can actually put 2 hard drives into it if you're going to take the approach that I'm talking about, because you can get, you know, like very high capacity hard drives for relatively low cost if you're using the kind that you can just drop into that dock. But you basically get that, you drop it in the dock, and then a lot of those docks will just have a copy option. And then you hit copy, and then it'll just write any new files into the backup drive as well. And then you have 2 different versions, and then you also have, you know, any cloud storage that you have as well. Let's see here. Rock Climbing Grandma says, I had an external drive break with tons of videos on it. Me too. That's why I do the backup. So when I was first starting my YouTube channel, when I was first starting the channel, I had this thing to where I was like, all right, if I'm going to do this, I want to make sure that I'm making this easy on my mind. So I'm going to just go ahead and get the first 10 videos. Like before I even uploaded one video, I said, I'm gonna record 10 videos, get everything ready to go. And I'm going to have these 10 videos where I can know that I'm at least like 10 weeks out. Publish the first video. I might have published the second video. I can't remember because it's been, like 7 years now. But I can't remember, but like, 1, 2, maybe even 3 videos in, but I was cruising my motorbike, right? Because here in Thailand, it's common to drive scooters around. So I'm like, cruising the scooter around, leaving the mall. I do a U-turn, legal U-turn, but I do a legal U-turn, and then tourists just walked right out into traffic because they're just not used to, the insane traffic environment that goes on here. So they just walked right out into traffic as I was doing that turn. So I take that turn, I'm accelerating out of the turn. They step right off of the curb, right out in front of me, right as I'm accelerating up to them and hit them. I end up rolling off of the motorbike, landing on my back because at that time I was doing a lot of my work. Like I would go to the Starbucks at the mall, and they had this like desk, and it's kind of like this actually. And they have all these tables around, and people just sit there and work and stuff. So I just sit there, put on my headphones, sit there, and jam out and do everything on my laptop. So I fall on my back on off of my motorbike, and when I fall off my back, I land on my laptop and on my hard drive that I was that I had all those videos on. So what ended up happening is my laptop was fine. However, the videos that were all on that hard drive, all of them, all of the original footage, the finalized footage, all the B-roll, all the everything that I did for those videos, all toast. And at that time, just like, a lot of you that are probably starting right now, at that time, it would take me like a long time to get through a video. So like I would record it and then, I put everything on a hard drive, and then I would go hit a coffee shop or whatever. And I would just sit there and work on it. It would take me, all day to get through, like a 5-minute video. Cause that's where I was at, with my skill set at the time. So it'd take me all day to get through that 5-minute video, but I put in all this time on those 10 videos. And then after 2, maybe 3, I ended up, same exact situation of losing them. So since then I've been backing them up to additional drives. Let's see here. So next up on our list, Traveling Man Las Vegas says, our phone camera is just as good as expensive ones. I have the newest Samsung phone, but I feel my videos don't measure up visually, even when I record in 4K. So in terms of, are they as good? So I'll say it this way. If you have enough light, if you're shooting outside, then once it's scaled down on a phone, because, most of the watch time on YouTube comes from mobile devices. So once it's scaled down on a phone, you can't really see a huge difference. However, when you start getting into creativity, having a actual camera where you can change lenses, all that stuff, that's where that really starts to come in. And also being able to, compensate for light. So on your phone, you can compensate for light as well. You can use something like Filmic Pro. And by using Filmic Pro, one of the things that will happen there is it allows you to manually adjust some of the settings that you can't just do natively on the phones. So you'll be able to dial in some specific things. So what you might be running into is your phone might be auto-adjusting the white balance. Your phone might be auto-adjusting your ISO. Your frame rate even. And because of that, it's probably making your footage look a little bit weird. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you can lock in those things. Make sure you can lock in your ISO, make sure you can lock in your frame rate, lock in your shutter speed, make sure that you can, lock in your white balance. So then that way, as you're recording your content, everything stays the same. And you also make those adjustments based on the lighting conditions that you're in. So if you're in a low light situation, you might have to turn up your ISO. And if you turn up your ISO, it's going to introduce a bunch of grain into your video. It's going to make your video just not look as good. So because of that, you want to make sure that you're recording in places that have enough light. That's why I was saying, if you took like this camera and then you took like my iPhone, you put them next to each other and I shot the same thing outside, it would look relatively similar, relatively close on when you're looking at it on a phone. If you blew it up on a 4K TV, well, in that case, you'd be able to see, the difference better between the two. But I mean, it's pretty close. So because of that, you just want to make sure that if you are having trouble with your phone footage, like not looking right, go into your settings and make sure that that everything is set up properly. And in addition to that, just make sure that you are recording where you have enough light, because light makes a huge difference. So for example, if you are shooting with a webcam, like in this scenario, so I have this camera. This is a Sony A5100 on here with a Sigma 16 millimeter lens. And with that, oh, that's weird. I had because the motion sensors, that's why. So I had some lights go off and I'm like, hey, what's going on? So I set up a motion sensor for, there we go. Okay. But basically what you want to think about is like, is the light that you're getting in. So I used to do these live streams on a Logitech C922. And the way that I, did my lighting and everything, it still looked awesome. Like it still looked great. The only reason I upgraded to this, and you know, the whole setup that I do now, but the only reason that I upgraded to a DSLR is just for that clarity and for, you know, like a nice blurred out background and like those types of things that are just a little bit more difficult to accomplish. But just the right lighting can really get you pretty far when it comes to you know, making everything look good.
Super chat.
Gern Mention Outdoors says, thanks for the tips. Trying to grow my channel every day. Thank you for the super chat. Hope that you are doing fantastic and you are in the right place for YouTube information. So, you know, some other places as well, you know, just for those of you, you know, just in case you don't know, like, you know, YouTube has the, you know, for all of you that are looking, you know, for YouTube related information, you have the YouTube Creator Academy, which is free by YouTube. You have the Creator Insiders YouTube channel, which everybody here should be subscribed to. They do like, you know, feature updates and things like that when they're rolling out new stuff for YouTubers. They, you know, they let you know, like bug fixes and things like that when they're fixing stuff, when there's problems. Subscribe to that. Subscribe to like YouTube creators as well. A lot of really good stuff over there. And subscribe to other, you know, YouTube help channels too. Like if you're watching my content, go watch Brian G. Johnson, go watch Roberto Blake, go watch Daryl Eves, go watch Tim Smoyer, go watch Video Influencers, go watch, you know, Sean over at Think Media TV and his whole squad over there. Go and watch Channel Makers, Nate over at Channel Makers, go and watch Ed over at Film Booth. You know, all of them, you know, just, you know, great information, you know, coming out of everybody's channels. But, you know, there's a lot of really good content out there that will, you know, help you get a great understanding of all of this, you know, of all of this stuff. Because it's complex, you know, like a lot of people when they start YouTube, they think like, hey, I just got to, you know, record a video and upload it. And, you know, that can get you there, you know, but, you know, when you start really digging in terms of like what makes all this stuff work and, you know, what does high performing content look like, you know, like there's a lot of nuance to this stuff. And, you know, we all have like a different approach. So I really encourage you to, you know, to just kind of spread it around a little bit and, you know, kind of get some information from everybody and see, you know, who it is that you resonate with and all that good stuff. Tech with KG.
Super
says,
chat.
does leaving up live streams hurt my channel? Should I be delisting Q&A streams? I do TVs, tech reviews, and discussion videos. So when it comes to unlisting your streams, what you want to think about is if you're doing Q&A videos, but it's still around TVs, tech, and reviews and tech discussion, then in that case, you're fine. But what I would do is I would just make sure that you're optimizing it for the replay. So what I mean by that is if you are live streaming and you start your live stream, you have this like, you know, 5-minute counter on there in terms of like a countdown clock, like, hey, everybody get hyped up. We're getting ready to start the stream. And then you start the stream. And then, you know, you go through whatever you go through at the beginning, then you get into your content, whatever. Then you want to make sure that after the stream, if you do use one of those, that you go and you cut that off, right? That you go and you cut that countdown timer off, because on the replay, it's going to be a sucky experience for the people that come in on the replay if you leave that timer there. I recommend you don't even use those, that you just come in, you hit go, and you just come in hard on whatever it is that you're doing. That's what I recommend. But if you want to use one of those timers, which some people do, then in that case, I would just make sure you cut it off after. But keep in mind, if you cut it off after that, you're going to lose your chat replay. So if that's important to you, then just come in hard. Another thing to think about as well is when you are doing your live streams, just make sure that you are thinking about the replay in terms of, okay, when this thing first starts, I'm going to tell people what it is that we're talking about in this live stream, tell them exactly what it is that we're doing, and then I'm going to get into it so that, like, when you first start, if nobody's hanging out, you know, waiting to come in and watch your stream, then it's going to feel a little bit weird saying, hey, we're going to be doing this and blah, 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 while people are just starting to come into the stream. But for the people that are watching it on the replay, once it's a piece of video content, then for those people, that approach is going to make a lot of sense, right? Because then you're building up, hey, this is what we're going to be talking about, and then you actually get to talk about it. So because of that, if you are structuring things properly, you're not doing those things that create a wall between your audience and your content, then in that case, I would just go ahead and leave them up. One thing that you can do is just keep this in mind. One thing that you can do if you're already in the partner program, if you're trying to get in the partner program, that watch time is going to add up. Those view counts are going to add up to help you get there faster. If you unlist those, or if you make those private for those streams, then you're going to remove that public watch time and those public view counts, which will then make it harder for you to get into the YouTube partner program, because then you're going to have to make video content that's going to compensate for that loss. So because of that, if you're already in the partner program, then one thing that you could do is just experiment with like, hey, the next 30 days, I'm going to unlist them, see if anything changes on my channel, right? But what I'm going to guess is that there's a really good chance that you're not going to notice any difference one way or the other. The only difference that you're going to notice is that you might see lower view counts because you've taken those off compared to when you leave them public. All right. So let's see here. Hey, Farron132, you're my hero. Thank you for the kind words. Appreciate it. Getting a 5-liter coffee. That's what I'm talking about right there, man. If you deliver, that would be fantastic. Okay, so let's do another question here.
If you're enjoying the show, remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend right now.
Gist 2020 says they've been on YouTube for a year or more. They do how-to content. The goal of the channel is to help others learn home organization. Question: is there a way to know a list of items useful and or available at YouTube stage I am in currently, under 1,000? I think I haven't learned quite a bit so far, but I often find that I missed items. Don't know what items they are, what they do, or what that I could be using them for and prioritizing. Okay, so I have a video that is about the different YouTube milestones. So that video is like, hey, at 1,000 subscribers, you get this. At 5,000 or at 10,000 subscribers, you get this. At 100,000 subscribers, you get this, and so on. Check out that video. That will give you some insight into the different features. Let's see here. Faran132, I did see your comment again, and I'm actually going to pin this one too. I've seen them. So, like I read through the comments in some cases if I'm like really explaining something and I kind of go off the rails in terms of I'm explaining it a lot. In that case, if the chat's moving quickly, then, I might miss some. But, a lot of times I'll see a lot of the comments that come through here. So let's see here. Next up, we got Project Dragon. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Heavy Metal Chef. Hope that you're doing fantastic. Yeah. Okay. So Magic Flying Potato, if you're delivering those 5-liter coffees, I'll take one. And it looks like Heavy Metal Chef is also on your delivery route as well. And we appreciate the coffee delivery there. Okay. So next question that we have here is from Tibble's World. Tibble's World says they do gaming content. The goal of the channel says I want to make money from YouTube. The question: I have 155 subscribers. I'm thinking of changing my channel niche from gaming to movies. Is that okay? That's perfectly okay. Just keep in mind that, like right now you have 155 subscribers. Like you can go in any direction that you want. You're perfectly fine. But one thing to think about is if you're wanting to make money from YouTube, if you are doing gaming content or if you're going into movies, both of those you can make tons of money in ad revenue, but you got to get a lot of views for that to happen. If you're wanting to make money from YouTube, you might want to explore different niches that are more profitable, that will help you be able to, generate money faster, with lower view counts. That's the approach that you want to do if you are using, YouTube as something that you're trying to generate income from. Even if it's just side money, whatever, you want to make sure that you are making content that is easy to monetize with lower view counts. Okay, next up we've got Delusional Bob again. We already answered a question from Delusional Bob, so I'm gonna skip that one. So here, Naked History says they do history and literature. The goal of the channel is to build a community to share my work with. And the question says, hey, Nick, only me again. Thanks so much for these weekly sessions. The question is, the subject matter of my videos is in a pretty small niche, but I'd love to grow a diverse community and get more people interested in history. Any advice to have wider appeal when you're in a small niche? Absolutely. So what you want to think about if you're trying to get, more people interested in history is go broad. So what I mean by that is, you're going to have your content on your very niche things, but also put out some content that does have mass appeal. And what I mean by that is instead of doing, history, like, hey, this is, like, I don't know, like talking about the Mayflower and like, stuff like that I remember from history. But, instead of, talking about just general history like that, also talking about the history of popular things. So for example, that actually sounds like a cool channel name, but like the history of popular things would basically be, like the history of like the internet, the history of YouTube, the history of just anything that is just kind of like a part of pop culture, so that you can lean into just a broader interest of that, because you have it to where, some people are interested in, like actual like history, everything is history, I guess, but you have, like the history that you think about when you think of history. And then you have, the history of everything else. So because of that, just mixing in some of that other, more pop culture related things into your history content will help you get in front of a more broad audience, because you can make one video in that case that just a lot of people end up being interested in. And since a lot more people are interested in that, then just that one video can end up bringing, you know, a substantial amount of viewers to your channel. So just experimenting with that type of content on a regular basis, in addition to the normal, you know, history stuff that you normally do. So it's all history, right? It's all still doing history. It's just, you know, it's just sectioning it out to make sure that you're doing, you know, things that also have a little bit more of a mass appeal. Andy Tran, thank you for the super chat. Says, I have a channel right now that has about 80,000 subscribers. It's a mess with topics, tech, haircuts. Do you think it's best to create a separate channel for each? I would, yeah. And the reason that I would is because if you look at what's driving that 80,000 subscribers, or what has driven that 80,000 subscribers, it's probably going to be one or the other, or one in terms of tech or haircuts. One of them is going to massively dominate over the other one in terms of the things that's actually brought people into that channel. So if you do end up separating, then what I would do is I would say, okay, if I've been doing, you know, tech and haircuts, if it happens to be the tech content that ended up doing better, the haircuts, we'll just go with haircuts. So if it was the haircut content that's doing better, then say, okay, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the tech content, I'm going to put that somewhere else, because this channel is already being driven by, you know, the hair content. Another thing that you want to use in that decision is if you log into your YouTube analytics and you scroll down, they're going to show you the highest performing videos on your channel by whatever date range that you select. So you can select 28 days, you can select 90 days, or the past year even, and you'll start to get an understanding of the content that's still bringing people in to your YouTube channel as well. And you want to just kind of start deciding. And you can actually do this whole thing through grouping. So basically you can group together in your YouTube analytics. And I show you how to do this in my latest video. So go watch that video. But basically you could say, okay, I'm going to group together all my hair content. I'm going to group together all my tech content, regardless of how many videos that is. I'm going to add, you know, all of these to the hair content. I'm going to add all of these to the tech folder. And then I'm going to do a direct comparison on these two. I'm going to see which ones have driven more subscribers. I'm going to see which ones have driven more view counts in the lifetime of my channel. I'm also going to do this over the last, 90 days, 180 days, and 365 days. So I can start to get a decent understanding of what is happening on my YouTube channel in terms of the different content types, and which ones people are responding to most and which ones people are responding to the most recently at the highest rate as well. And that's the stuff that you would keep on the main channel. Because, if that audience is coming in, they're continuing to come in from that, higher performing content, then you want to make sure that you continue serving those people with that, with that same type of content. Let's see. Jay-Z helps. Thank you for the super chat, my man. Says, shout out to Daniel Batal and D. Pumped for you to review my channel in the Nimmin private Facebook group. You're the man, Nick. You are as well. And yeah, D and Daniel are actually doing a channel review stream after this live stream today. So over on the StreamYard YouTube channel, glad you mentioned that, by the way, because it slipped my mind. Over on the StreamYard YouTube channel, they're going to be doing channel reviews. So make sure, if you're not already, make sure that you are subscribed. I'm going to drop this down here in the chat. Make sure that you're subscribed to the StreamYard channel here. Once you head over there to subscribe, go ahead and click on that stream that they have scheduled for 11:05 local time. And go ahead and just click the reminder on that so that, as soon as this stream's over, in case I finish it earlier or something like that, so that you can make sure that, that you're going over there for that if you want to do a channel review. And their stream also, by the way, is super fun. So they've gamified the whole channel review thing, and it's really entertaining to watch. So even if you're not hey, I don't even care if somebody looks at my channel, it's super fun to watch them look at other people's channels. Let's see here. Ghost Pirate Entertainment says, what light do you recommend to light your face? I use a ring light, but I'm not happy with it. Any suggestions for brand or type? Please help. So the lights that I have, I can give you that recommendation. So I don't know exactly what it is that you're doing in terms of, budget and things like that. But if you are, if you're open in terms of budget, some good lights that are not expensive, but they are, they're just good lights are Godex lights. That's what I use for some of my stuff. With the Godex lights, Glasses Kingdom, what's up, man? Hope you're doing fantastic. Thanks for swinging by the stream today. But basically with the Godex lights, that's what I have here. Let me see if I can. There you go. So this right here is a Godex, because I've got 3 of these in here that are actually up right now. But this one is a Godex SL60W. And then I have this big softbox thing that I have on it. This particular type of light, it's kind of big, it's kind of bulky, but it does the trick. And the reason I have these is just because I can, put these different attachments on them. So creatively, like the one that's over here, I've got these like barn door things on it to where I can like really focus the light in. Every now and then I've got a snoot that I'll put on it, which is like a little cone that can really focus you in on an area with the light. This one over here, I have a different thing. It's kind of like a beauty dish that goes on it, so that one, it actually, when I'm making video content for my setup over there, that light actually comes in kind of like behind me, and it kind of, separates me from all the stuff that's happening back here. But that one also has like a softening thing on it so that the light that hits me is soft. But the idea with both of those is that, again, that choice is based around the attachments for what I'm trying to do in this room. But with that said, I also have an aperture Amaron that is actually in this container back here, not container, but this cabinet back here. And then I have another one. You can't really see it over here. You might be able to see it if I turn that light back on. Oh, no, it's on. So over here, yeah, you can't really see it, but I have another LED. The panel, I mean, it's like this thick. And that's an aperture light as well. But it's like an Amaron something is the actual name, but Aperture is the company that makes it. What you want to think about when you are when you're looking for light for your videos, you can get anything that will light you up. However, the quality of light is going to make a difference. So for example, in my old place, and well, I wouldn't even say my old place, like before I upgraded to these lights, because I also had some of these lights in the old place too. But basically, like when I first started my YouTube channel, I had like soft boxes. And with those soft boxes, I put compact fluorescent lights in those. They're called CFLs. And it's just pretty much just like a normal light that you would use in your house, but they're daylight balanced bulbs. But I put those in these little like can light things. And what that allowed me to do is also kind of focus the light on me and not light up too much of the background, because I like that dark vibe and splashing color in the back, or just whatever it is that I put in the background. So because of that, those worked. But as soon as I introduced like a nice quality light to what it was that I was doing, I was sitting at the desk. I remember actually when I noticed this, I was sitting at my desk and I recorded a video. And in that video, I had my CFL light hitting me from one side, and then I had one of these aperture lights hitting me from the other side. And the quality of the color of the aperture light was so much better that I literally could see the divide on my face. And one side of my face was a little bit green compared to the other side of my face. That was actually natural looking skin tones. So what I'm getting at is where I used to have to correct that green out based on the quality of the light that I was using, even though it was budget. Like you can get that whole kit for like $50. But the quality of the light was a little bit lower compared to these I won't even say high end because they're not, but these like nicer lights with a higher quality of light that make everything look better. So so it just kind of depends on your setup and what it is that you're doing. But you can get some really low budget kits. Like for example, there's a kit on Amazon. It's like $80 or $90, and it has LED lights in there, and it's got soft boxes and everything. It's like $80 or $90. It'll do the trick for you in most cases. But if you're trying to do creative stuff, then you might want to, upgrade to different types of lights that have different attachments on them and stuff, because like the LED lights, they don't have those attachments to them. Whereas, these other lights are made for those. It's called like a Bowen mount that they have on them that make it where you can, attach all these crazy things to them. All right, so that was our lighting lesson for today. Aussie Stoner's channel says pros and cons to rename or rebrand a channel. So pros and cons. So pros of renaming and branding a channel is that you make it easier. You make it easier to remember. You make it to where it is actually unique to you. Those are pros. So basically you make it easier to remember, you make it to where it's unique to you. You also, rename it if you find out that like all of the assets online are not available. You can't get TikTok, you can't get Instagram, you can't get, the .com for it, those sorts of things. Then in that case, changing your name to something where you can secure the brand across the internet is something that you might want to consider. The cons, if you've already built up like a massive brand on the internet, then doing like a name change like that and just completely rebranding everything can kind of throw some people off if you do have, regular people. But, like if they're hardcore regular people, then, they'll just kind of, transition through you with it or transition with you through it. But if you have, an audience that is kind of like, hey, they use all these visual cues and all this stuff to recognize like who you are and to find your content, then in that case, you are going to create a little bit of an obstacle for them. But eventually, at the end of the day, if you're making awesome content, then you'll be able to make those changes and you'll be able to keep on trucking without skipping a beat. But if you are just kind of, like, hey, I'm still learning all this stuff, then I would try to find something and transition into a name to where you can secure the brand on the internet, but just try not to change it, after that, so that you can just build up long-term momentum under that brand name. And one more con is if you are a channel over 100,000 subscribers, then if you do change your channel name, you'll lose the checkbox next to your name, And when you lose that checkbox, you can get it back. But you have to go through an approval process to get it back instead of just having it, just because you crossed that milestone. Studio tour video. Yeah, it's coming. Like I have a few things that I have to do to kind of polish the place off. So I've got most of it set up how I want. But I have some posters that I'm having made from here. I'm actually designing them. So I just haven't gotten around to it. And because of, the outbreaks and stuff locally and all of that, like I'm not trying to go out and like hang out in not poster shops, but like framing shops and all that stuff to get it all done. But I've got 2 big posters that I'm going to be putting over here. I've got one other piece of art that I'm going to be putting over there. And then I've got a little bit to do in my music room. And then once, and that's back over there. And then once those things are done, then that's when I'll whip together the studio tour. Let's see here. Okay. So as we keep on going here through this list, we have Glasses Kingdom says, really love your setup. My very near future dream. Yeah, like I've been doing this for 7 years. So, a lot of this stuff is just kind of accumulated over time. And then some of it, like, cause I moved recently as well. So, once I moved, I was like, hey, there's some things that I need to get in order to, like really, make this setup look, cool and take advantage of the space that I have. So, because of that, I went and got some, extra stuff like this monitor, for example. I went and got this as kind of like a, like, hey, this is going to be my setup for a while. So let's commit to something crazy. And that's where I went and got this monitor as well. Okay. So let's keep on moving here. Keep on trucking, so to speak. Hey, Jay-Z Help says a little something to help D get back into Thailand. Thank you. Okay, so our next question that we have on our list, I'm going to pull this one from the forum, and then right here in a second, I'm actually going to pull some out of the chat as well. So if you have a question, go ahead and get it ready. Put a Q in front of it so I know it's for me and not a conversation, like a side conversation that you're having in the chat. Don't drop it in there yet, but when I say drop your question, then just go ahead and start dropping the questions, and then I'll just see them as they're coming in. But let's see here. We have Drew Project says they upload 1 time per week or more. They do music covers, acoustic and weird alternative instruments. The goal is to go full time as soon as possible. And the question, I'm currently at 93 subscribers, 21 videos. On Wednesday, I published my first collab with a much bigger channel, piano covers, 2,400 subs. We published the same exact video on both channels and premiered it on the bigger channel. We use the same thumbnail, same title, same everything. Okay. So what you're doing right there is you're spamming YouTube and you are uploading duplicate content. You're uploading the same video to multiple channels, and that is against their terms of service. So you want to, like, on one of those channels, you want to take it down. Let's see here. It says, in spite of getting a lot of amazing comments on the bigger channel, such as Drew's voice is angelic, or Adele is so hard to sing for, man, and he's totally nailed it. I prefer this version of the original, etc. I only got a handful of new subscribers. Did I do something wrong? Maybe wrong call to action or something. We're collaborating on another song with the same channel, and we'll publish it in 2 weeks. I really want to fix what didn't work and get more subs this time. Any advice? So basically, when people are interacting with your YouTube channel, especially if they're coming from like another channel, then they're going to sample what it is that you have, and then they're going to make that call on if they want to subscribe or not. So even though you are getting some of those positive responses coming back, people really speak through those responses, but they also speak through the actions that they take that are non-vocal. So for example, people subscribing to your YouTube channel at a high rate, that means people are really digging what it is that you're doing compared to people subscribing at a low rate. There are things that you can do to accelerate that in terms of just, spreading awareness about the subscribe, reminding people to subscribe. So like, for example, if you're doing music videos, one thing that you might want to consider is, somewhere towards the end of the song, just having like a little graphic that pops up, no audio attached to it, just a small, non-intrusive graphic that pops up that just says, for more music like this, remember to subscribe, something like that. But the idea is to just kind of spread awareness. But at the end of the day, if your music's awesome, you're going to do fine. If you are, even though you might be converting people at a smaller rate now, some things do come into play. for example, you said you have 93 subscribers with 21 videos. So the 93 subscriber part, some people could come over there and be like, oh, they're just getting started. You know, who knows if they're going to keep going or not, that sort of thing. So they're not committing to you yet with a subscribe, but maybe when you do that next video, they might end up, you know, committing to a subscribe then, because it's like, hey, now they're going kind of back and forth with this creator, and therefore they're probably going to be around for a while. So, you know, now I'm going to, you know, give them my subscribe. The Eternal Samurai says, Nick, thank you for all your help. I hit 1,000 subscribers a week ago. Next goal is YouTube partner. Any tips for community posts and getting watch time? High five and fist bump to you on crossing 1,000 subscribers on your YouTube channel. Nice work. Partner program on the way. So in terms of tips for community posts and getting more watch time. So when it comes to watch time, I have a concept that I call the watch time trap, just because it's a fun name, but in reality, all it is it is making your content easy for people to find. What I mean by that is when people are watching one of your videos, it's important to make sure that you are interlinking your content and that you're being proactive about how you're going to interlink your content. So what that means is when you're publishing videos to your YouTube channel, you have the option to on one hand, say, okay, I'm going to publish this video and then I'm going to try to find other content that would be a good fit for this content that I'm going to link to. Or there's the other approach, which is more strategic and much more effective, to where it is, instead of thinking of the content that I'm publishing as one video, and this is really important. Instead of thinking of the content that I'm publishing as one video, I'm going to start thinking of the content that I'm publishing as sets of content. So I'm going to build series around those sets. Those series can be like a 3 or 4 video series for each one, but I'm basically going to build these little packets of videos together so that, you know, if somebody watches video A, the likelihood just based on them coming in and watching video A that they would watch video B is going to be drastically increased, right? It's going to be super relevant to those people. Same exact thing with video 3 and video 4. It doesn't have to be put together in terms of a, you know, hey, watch video 2 in order to understand what's happening in video 1 and that kind of stuff. They're all standalone videos, but the way that you're thinking about your publishing schedule is, when I publish these videos, what playlists are they going to go into? How are they going to interlink with each other so that I can make sure that I'm directing viewers to the content that's the most relevant to them based on the content that they're currently interacting with. And the better you get at that, the faster your watch time is going to increase, because as people are coming into your content for one video, then you're going to start amplifying those views into multiple views per viewer. Not every viewer, of course, but, you know, some of those viewers are going to end up watching, you know, more than one video at a time, and they're going to follow those recommendations because you're nailing it in terms of what it is that they're interested in terms of they're coming to into one video for this, and then you have like the next logical step, or you have, you know, something else that person would be likely to enjoy as the next thing that you're handing off to. So you want to make sure that you're using all of the possible features that let you do that. For example, and I'll just list them for you. You want to make sure that you are adding links to videos and playlists that are relevant to the current content down in your video description. You want to make sure that you're pinning comments that drive people into a playlist or another piece of video content that is also relevant to them based on the content that they're currently watching. You also want to make sure that you're linking an in-screen, either a playlist or a video, but that you're also using the best for viewer in that spot as well. The reason that you want to do both, and you're going to hear a lot of different opinions on this, but the reason that you're going to do both is because you have the one that you're directing them to, which is typically the call to action that's the most effective. However, you also have the best for viewer. So the best for viewer is there. So if you're like, hey, go watch this video, and then you have a nice amount of your audience that's already watched that video, they're clearly not going to click on that video because they've already watched it. So the best for viewer is YouTube detecting that, hey, the people that are watching this video, or each individual person that's watching this video, based on the videos they've already watched on the channel, the content they typically watch and respond to positively, all that good stuff, this is the video that YouTube thinks is the best fit for that person. So out of those two videos, YouTube is making their prediction, and then you're making your call to action to hand off to something as well. So then that way you're catching them at both ends, so to speak. So just make sure that you're doing that. In addition to that, make sure that you are using playlists on a regular basis, that you're driving people into playlists on a regular basis, that you're setting those playlists up as a series. I mentioned that in my last video as well. It's pinned right up here at the very top of the chat right now. But make sure that you are also marking playlists as a series when relevant, when the content is, relative to each other in that playlist. The reason for that, YouTube tells us in the YouTube Creator Academy, plus you can actually see this in practice as well, that when you mark a playlist as a series playlist, the other videos in that playlist are more likely to get recommended to the other videos in that playlist, as long as people are responding to, how you're setting everything up. So for example, if you have a series playlist, you don't want to put, 1,000 videos in it, because the likelihood of people getting through all 1,000 videos is extremely low. But if you put, 3 videos in it, 4 videos in it, then in that case, the likelihood of people watching all 4 or all 3 of those videos goes up, and you're driving people from all 3 or 4 of those videos into that playlist. And then what happens in that case is YouTube starts detecting, based on how their recommendation systems work, that when people watch video A, they also typically watch video B, and then they typically watch video C. And then as that process starts getting solidified, YouTube, even for people that are not watching the videos in the playlist, YouTube will start having some of those videos pop up in the next up. If they're not in the next up, then they will just start recommending those, in other places, next to those videos that they're currently watching. And in addition to that, if somebody watches one of the videos in there and people typically watch them together, then they can also give those recommendations on the homepage as well. So, so what you want to think of is you want to think about, bigger picture here. Instead of just publishing a video and a video and a video, how am I going to actually drive people through each one of these pieces of content? So a great way to do this is what I do in my planner that I have. So I have an iPad planner that I made. If you go to padplanet.com, you'll find it. But basically in that planner, and I'm gonna have to update it soon for 2022. But basically in that planner, the reason that I made that at all is because I wanted a way to be able to visually write out, okay, these are the videos that I'm making. And you can do this on a piece of paper too, but over a calendar, right? Okay, these are the videos that I'm making this month. How am I going to interlink these two videos that are already here? And I literally just draw arrows, right? Like, okay, this video is going to link to this video is going to link to this video. And then if it ends up linking to something that I've made in the past in the archive, then in that case, I'll just make the note. Okay, it's going to link to this, right? So just thinking that bigger picture of how you're going to flow people through your content is really important. In addition to that, also make sure that you are setting up your channel page properly in terms of, making sure that you're adding sections from some of those playlists that you're creating to help the people that are coming and interacting with your channel. For those people that do flow over to your channel page, helping them find the content that's most important to them faster and easier will also help you build more views and watch time as well. All right.
If you're enjoying the show, remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend right now.
Welcome to the Nimminati.
Kendall, aka Master Kunch, welcome to the Nimminati. Make sure that you go to Nimmin, VIP.com. That is our members only Facebook group. Fill out all the information on the way in, because that's how I verify that you are a channel member. And we will see you over there in the group. Once you do that, I'll be adding those after the stream today. Plant Obsessed, good morning. Hope that you're doing fantastic. Welcome to the stream today. Okay, go ahead and drop those questions. Now's the time. So starting right now, if you have a question, go ahead and drop it. And the first one, starting after Nisha James TV, we're going to go through a quick lightning round here. So the first one after that is going to get answered. And I'm looking over here on the StreamYard side. So basically just the order that they're coming in over here is what I'm going to do. And you got to put a Q in front of it so I know it's for me. Okay, so have another channel made just for students as a college teacher. Current channel is for creative writers. And since we're doing lightning round here, let's see here. How can I do this? Let me just turn it up a couple notches here. I know we had kind of an issue on the last stream. So let me just kind of bump this up just a little bit. And just so we can kind of symbolize this. You know what? I might be able to do it here. Let's see. Let me know, Doug, if this is too loud, and I'll turn it down. Okay. So here we go. Okay, so I have another channel made just for students as a college teacher. Current channel is for creative writers, but I want to bring one video from another channel to the new channel. How should I do that? Delete the video off of the other channel, upload it to the new channel. So inside of YouTube, you actually have the option inside of your studio. You can download the videos. So you want to make sure that you just download that video from there. I would make some edit to it as well, so you're not uploading the same exact piece of content. But the idea is that you want to basically just download it, delete it from that other channel, and then upload it to the new channel. Let's see here. Magic Flying Potato says, I hear from another source that you used to be a BMX guru in your younger days. Could you tell us? Definitely was not a BMX guru, but I did used to BMX race as a kid. So I was really good actually on a bicycle, and like a lot of kids are, right? But my mom actually got my brother D and I into racing. So we used to BMX race when I was a kid. So that's what that's for. Okay, so question, tech channel, almost at 10,000 subs right now. I do home theater TV reviews targeted gamers. I want to add in another. There we go. Let's see here. I want to add in another. Hold on, where did that go? Consumer electronics. Would this be a mistake? I want to be a go-to check channel. So it's at 10,000 subscribers. You do home theater to TV, and you want to add in another consumer electronics. Okay, it's targeted at gamers. As long as it's targeted at gamers, then absolutely. Because if your audience is gamers and you're trying to reach gamers, then in that case, you want to make sure that you're reaching them with content that's going to be relevant to them. So if you can do any type of content that you want, as long as it's relevant, or experiment with any type of content that you want, as long as it's targeted towards gamers. YouTube is hard. I'm 10,000.4 subs. Was averaging 10,000 to 40,000 views. Now I can barely hit 2K. It's hard. Absolutely, it's hard. So what you want to do in your case, division addiction is one. Keep in mind, just for everybody that started a channel in 2021, that was kind of like a gold rush for YouTube. So like if you had this, big experience in 2021, and then you notice that everything is starting to go down now, as everything's opening up and, things like that. Just as a heads up, like you came in at a very high time on YouTube. So, if you are coming down off of that, just keep that in mind. But also, if you do have videos that have done well, those videos have left you clues in terms of, what people respond to on your channel. So what you want to do is you want to go start looking at the numbers behind, behind some of those, videos that have done well on your channel, especially when you were consistent for a while getting those view counts. And you want to try to uncover, like, what is it that caused people to respond positively to these videos. And you want to start coming up with all types of theories about your titles, your thumbnails, the topics of the videos, what you were doing in the videos, how you started the videos, what you did to keep the momentum in your videos, all that stuff. Just keep look at all of those things and then come up with theories on why you think people responded better. And then start applying those theories or testing those theories with new content. So you're going to be uploading tons of content over time. And the best thing to do is start testing those theories on some of that content so that you can, over time, start to uncover the things that people respond to more on your channel, either topically or the thumbnails that you're doing or the way you're structuring your titles or the specific words that you're using in your titles, things like that. But you want to start trying to uncover what it is that made people, respond positively to what you're doing. Let's see here. Have question 3 ways. Okay, there we go. Let's see here. Next question. Longest word in English. I have no idea. No clue. Let's see here. Question. Can you please let me in the Facebook group? I'm outside knocking at the door. Do you have an email support that I can use to contact you for this? So if you are in the, if you've applied or not applied, but if you hit the thing for the members only Facebook group, you will be added after this live stream. So basically I go in every Saturday. That's the time that I add those. So I go in on Saturday after the streams, and then I add them there. So if you've put it in there, then you'll be added here after the stream. Let's see here. Creamy or junky peanut butter? Creamy. Yeah, creamy, unless I'm feeling like, extra hungry or something, and I want that, the extra calories from the nuts, then I might go with chunky, because I keep both at all times just in case. But so I love peanut butter and jelly, peanut butter and honey, absolutely love them. And like peanut butter with like Ritz crackers, glory. But basically, creamy is usually my go-to though. Fit Dad Chris, what's up, my man? Hope you're doing great. Says, why are people so dead inside? I boosted a hilarious short that has nothing but positive feedback on YouTube. The people on Facebook are all hateful, all of them. No idea, just people are people. So the best thing that we can do, in my opinion, for situations like that is, just lean into, where people responded to it positively. So if people, responded to it positively as a short, people are giving you a hard time on Facebook, then either don't post them on Facebook or just don't look at the comments when you do. Next, can I buy only a 1 month of StreamYard instead of purchasing a year-long subscription? I'm pretty sure that they have monthly plans. You need to confirm, but I think there's like a little toggle that you can use to switch it back and forth. Let's see here. What's the code or special trick to use for my videos to open up the subtitles enabled right away? So it should be doing that like right out of the gate. So they should do that automatically. You might just need to go into your settings for the video, go under subtitles, and then actually publish the auto-generated captions. And then when you do that, then you should be able to see them. So what I recommend that you do, if there is some type of delay, because there's over 500 hours of videos being uploaded to YouTube every minute. So because of that, you might want to upload a little bit ahead of time if you're noticing like, hey, it's taken a while for these, for YouTube to auto caption these. So just upload them unlisted ahead of time so that you can give yourself, enough of a cushion there to make sure that you can go in and make any adjustments that you need before you publish. Let's see here. Stick says love over gold or gold over love. In the long run, is it better be driven by your passion or to chase a more lucrative niche? Depends on what you're trying to do. So, like some people, they start a YouTube channel so that they can, go full time, so that they can make videos for a living. Other people publish YouTube videos so that they can connect with other people who love what it is that they love. So it just depends on your approach, why it is that you're doing YouTube, what it is that you're doing. In my opinion, the great approach is if you can find like a hybrid of the two. So then you get to generate, substantial amounts of income for yourself while also connecting with people who are, into the same things that you are. Then that's like the ultimate win, because then you get money from it, you get fulfilled from it. And you're getting the fulfillment, which, is happiness. And then you're also getting that income. So that's like the big win. So I don't believe that you have to do one or the other. I believe that, you can find a nice mix. And I also believe that as a YouTube content creator, that you should be monetizing at least to the point that you are helping YouTube pay for itself in terms of, cameras and computers and editing software subscriptions and, all of that stuff that you have to do as a content creator, that you at least monetize to that point. How do I protect my content from false copyright claims? Unfortunately, it's a false copyright claim because it's not legitimate. So because of that, there's no real way to protect against false copyright claims. If you do get a false copyright claim, though, the action that you can take is where you have, gotten permission to use that through whatever, service that you use. Then in that case, just make sure that you get the right documentation from them so that you can dispute the claims that you get. Let's see as we keep going. My channel is doing good. This is great going through. Let me know if you like this lightning round version that we're doing right now. So next question here is from Nisha James. My channel's doing good retention-wise. My channel does not have a niche. All the topics I keep covering, the retention is good. What do you recommend that I do? It's hard to choose one. So I would definitely niche down. Niching down is advantageous, and it will result in faster growth in most cases, almost all. But there's always outliers. But basically, you want to you do want to niche down so you can make sure that you're serving an audience. And when it comes to niching down, you don't necessarily have to think that, hey, I'm limiting, what it is that I'm doing per se. You just have to make sure that what it is that you're doing it, that you're framing it around things that your audience would be interested in. So for example, like in my case, just because you're watching my content right now, like if I wanted to do skits on my channel, I could. And those skits, though, if I was doing them on my channel, since it's primarily YouTube content creators that watch my videos, the skits that I would make on my YouTube channel to make sure that you thought they were great, they would all be framed around things that you would find funny as a YouTube content creator, not things that you would necessarily find funny outside of that, unless I was trying to pivot into more general audience content. Let's see here. What's the longest word in English? Still don't know, unfortunately. Can you please let me in the Facebook group? Okay, we did that one already. Let's see here. Thank you. I have a small niche, worm composting. How can I get more exposure? So if you're doing worm composting as your niche, essentially what it is that you're doing, I guess, would be that you're trying to, target, I'm guessing, gardeners with a mix of your name and, you doing the worm composting. So because of that, just make sure that you're putting out content that, for the people that are interested in worm composting and just other plant related things. Just make sure that you are making very simple thumbnails in terms of just making it easy for people to understand what it is that you're doing instead of cluttering them up with a bunch of text, which is what a lot of people do. Make sure the content is also good. This is the most important part. Well, second most important part, because you got to get people to click. But when it comes to the content itself, like if you are not making content that keeps people watching, that, like if you go into your audience retention reports, which YouTube gives us for every single video, if you go into your audience retention reports and you find that, that people are leaving your videos relatively fast after they start them, then in mass, then in that case, it's going to come down to your content. Like you got to make, better content. But if you are, if people are coming in, they're sticking around your videos and they're sharing them, they're adding them to playlists, you're getting a lot of comments, things like that, then in that case, you just got to keep going. Right? Because, you'll see that momentum pick up over time. Sometimes it can happen quickly. Sometimes it takes you a little bit to get going. But at the end of the day, just focusing on, just making sure that it's clear from the outside what people are going to get, instead of trying to overcomplicate it, to make sure it's clear. And then once they do click on what it is that you're doing, making sure that, that you give them an awesome experience from there. And by an awesome experience, here's what I mean. Make sure that when your video starts that you're hooking the viewer in some way in terms of telling them exactly what it is that they're going to be getting in the video. Also make sure that, you know, once you hook them, that you start being very intentional about what happens next. So instead of just like, hey, I'm just going to make this video and just kind of hopefully edit it together in a way that people will vibe with, think it through in advance and really put it through, put it together in a way that it creates that experience. And I see here in another chat that you say that you get about 60% retention. You want to look at that compared to the impressions that you get, but 60% retention is good. Like you're there. So because of that, like as long as that's happening, like if you're getting like 1,000 views a video and you're still keeping 60% retention, then you're doing awesome. If you're getting like 5 views, I mean, it's still great. Like it's still better than the alternative, but you know, like you need to, you know, make sure that that's happening at scale. But in addition to that, if you are getting 60% retention on your videos and you are getting a decent amount of views on them, then I would work really hard on the topics of the videos that you're making and on the actual thumbnail and the title themselves, that external packaging, because that is going to make a huge difference. Like if you can get more people to click and they watch it for 60%, as long as that 60% isn't like a 2-minute video. But if they're watching 60% of like a 5 or 10 minute video and you're getting them to click on it at a high rate, then you're going to do great. Okay, so next up here, Daniel Batal in the house. What's up, my man? Hope that you are doing fantastic. Why does YouTube recommend my most popular vid, even though it has a bad thumbnail? Just because you think it's bad doesn't necessarily mean that people respond to it bad. So if you look in your click-through rate for that video compared to the impressions, then in that case, you're going to notice that it's probably a decent thumbnail. So basically one thing that you'll notice as well is that as you start getting more impressions on your content, it drives the click-through rate down in your video. And that might make it seem like, oh, hey, this thumbnail sucks because I've got like a, 1 or 2%, click-through rate on this. But then it's like, I've got like, 1 million views on this video with, several million impressions on it. So, because of that, that's why it's low on the click-through rate. Nick, I'm worried about duplicate content now that you mentioned it. Is it okay to just cut out the chat at the end of the cover song in one of the 2 channels? Technically, yeah, that might be able to get you through it. Like to be safe, like I would just upload separate content to each one. So when you're doing the collaborations, I would make something for you, something for them, or just make something separate. Like make something for them if you're trying to get the subscribers from it. Then in that case, make something awesome for them, and then just do something separately on yours. So you collaborate with them on their channel, and then as your channel starts to grow, then you start spreading some of that love back to them, down the road. So trying to work things out that way, but you definitely want to make sure that you're putting different content on each channel. Let's see here. Should I post videos daily or every 2 days? Does it affect the reach and views of the videos? It can. When you're publishing a lot, you have a lot of new content that's going out that is being tested for YouTube to see how people are responding to that content. So because of that, you start suggesting a lot of traffic to yourself as well. And you have all of this new content going out all the time. So that point of like higher exposure, so to speak, is there. And if you're publishing like once a week, then you don't have as many, you don't have 7 new videos going out that are tapping into that new tag, so to speak, where they're, testing your content in a bunch of places. Hey, my pleasure. Nisha James TV. Doug says, ready. No longer AFK. Okay, that's a side conversation. So I'm going to jump this down here a little bit. And let's go into, okay, so that's it for, okay. I do live streams and reaction videos and games and walkthroughs. Should I make a separate channel? No, you don't need to. Like if you do all reaction videos to games, as long as it's all like around games, you're fine. And you'll figure out like and this is where using like the grouping feature comes in really handy. Like you'll figure out over time, if you use the grouping feature, if you're paying attention and you're using the features that YouTube allows us to have, they have a feature inside of your YouTube analytics. It's called groups. And in those groups, what you do is you can put like, hey, these are my live streams, these are my reaction videos to games, and these are the walkthroughs. And then you're going to be able to compare each of those content sets against each other. So you can say, okay, how do my reaction videos to games compare to my walkthroughs? You're going to see which ones get more views, which ones drive more subscribers, which ones have higher ad rates as a content type. Same exact thing goes if you do, okay, here's my live streams compared to my walkthroughs. Same exact thing. Which one generates more views? Which one generates more subscribers? Which one generates more watch time? Which one, generates higher ad revenue? You're going to be able to, identify each one of those, and then you can make the decision on what it is that you're trying to do based on your goals. So for example, if you're like, hey, I'm trying to generate more ad revenue from what it is that I'm doing, I'm trying to get more money off of YouTube ads, then in that case, when you start comparing those pieces of content together, you're going to notice one of them is going to drive a higher amount of ad revenue. Or on platform revenue. So because of that, then you can say, okay, well, if I'm trying to drive more ad revenue and trying to get more money, then I need to make sure that I'm making that type of content on a consistent basis. If you're trying to get more watch time so you can get to the partner program, so you're not generating that ad revenue yet, if you notice one content type drives more watch time in total, then in that case, you can say, okay, well, I'm going to start doing more of this so that I can start generating more watch time, but I'm also going to make more of these because these are proven, this content type is proven to generate more subscribers for my channel. So if I'm trying to get in the partner program, I need to make sure that I'm making more content that is proven on my channel to drive more subscribers and make more content on my channel that's proven to drive more watch time. Going through the list here. Okay, next up, we have Strive Every Day. Says, I have a content plan for the next 20 episodes. I want to organize them in 4 playlists. Should I produce them in an order to fill one playlist first or distribute across all playlists in parallel? It's your call. It kind of depends. Like if you are if you're like, okay, this series, I want to complete this series because it's going to make sense for people that watch this first video to quickly want this second video, then in that case, publishing them back to back, makes sense. If it's like, hey, people are enjoying whatever I put out, so because of that, I'm thinking a long game on this, then in that case, you can say, okay, I'm just going to kind of evenly distribute. I'm going to publish one for this playlist, one for this playlist, one for this playlist. I would actually do like 2 across there, and then, add to it from there for the additional ones that you're doing. And the reason for that 2 is so that you can actually go ahead and set up the playlist and you can start driving people into that playlist from each of those 2 videos and they'll get something new. So then you're setting up that structure with each one of, or for each one of those playlists, you're setting up that structure initially so that as you're driving people into it, they're going to see some of that new content that's in there from that older content for the people that are coming into those videos. So the flow would look like they're coming into video A, that video A is driving them into that playlist to watch video B. And in that, for all those people that are coming in, as it's only those 2 videos, they're going to get that experience. But as people are continuing to come into this video and watch, video B, when they hit that playlist, they're also going to see video C and D as well as those get published in there. So just thinking that structure through and just thinking like, how it is that you're going to need to take people through that experience is what you want to do. Let's see here. Jay-Z Help says another shout out to Daniel Batal, the Yoda of YouTube he is. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, should I go with YouTube suggestions? Suggested time, 10 a.m., 12 noon, 6 for me. The thing is Jamaica East. I'm at work at that time. What should I do? So YouTube has an app. Let me pull this up here for you just so you can see what it looks like. So what you can do is you can go ahead and get your videos ready, get them just completely ready to fly. And you have the choice to either schedule those videos to publish at that time, or you can use this right here. Let me change cameras. You can use this app right here called YT Studio. YT Studio is the, it's like your creator studio on your phone. So it's like an app that you can use and you can just go ahead and publish your content from there. So you can get everything ready. If you don't want to schedule it, then you can go and you can publish it manually through this Creator Studio app. All right. Let's see here. So I'm going to go ahead here. I think. Okay. 20 minutes. Yeah. Okay, so here, how long should a video be to keep people interested? As long as it needs to be, and I know that's not the answer that you're wanting, and I know that sounds like a cop-out, but that's the truth. So it needs to be as long as it needs to be. So for example, like when you watch my videos, like I have, the part of the video that you come into and you start watching that video. And then, I have the option where I could fill just a bunch of extra stuff and waste a bunch of your time and just fill out a bunch of videos or a bunch of extra time just for the sake of making the video longer. But at the end of the day, I keep in mind like, hey, as soon as I run out of value for this video, or as long as I don't think that the value that the viewers are going to be getting from this, that you are going to be getting from this, as soon as I think that's enough for that video, then that video is ending. I don't care if it's a minute long or I don't care if it's 15 minutes long. As soon as I feel that like, okay, the value that, is going to be kept, that people are going to get from this video, the video needs to be this long for it to happen. So what I do is I focus on the value first. And then when the video is actually being edited, then the video ends up being as long as it ends up being based around the value that's coming through. A blue aura. If you could explain that to me, that would be fantastic. I love, I would love to know specifically what that means. Because, like feedback like that, never had that before. So for me, like I would love some insight on that, just because like I would take a note on that. And then I would start, looking around, and I'll be like, okay, what does that mean? And then I'll start noticing like, hey, in this stream, this happened, concurrent viewers were this, does my aura matter, when it comes to, people watching for a longer period of time and hanging out and all that good stuff. So I would love some extra context on that. Let's see here. I've been watching a lot of your videos lately. Got my channel growing. Had a few videos having a few thousand views, which is nice. Currently, I have almost 400 subscribers. High five and fist bump to you for that 400 subscribers. Nice work. Keep going. Can you turn on monetization from the phone app? I can't find how to do it. Yes, you can. So basically, in here for the app, you need to actually go into a video itself. Once you go into the video itself, up at the very top, you're going to see a pencil icon. If you click on that pencil icon, then you want to click on the, let's see here. No, you want to scroll down. I'm sorry. Oh, you know what? No, actually, it looks like, hold on. No. Okay. Yeah, I'm wrong. Okay. No, you cannot. It looks like what I'm seeing right here for this video. Give me 1 second. Let me double check something. View more. Yeah, you used to be able to do this. Hold on. Click here. Monetization is on. If I click into this, yeah, it just says it's being monetized. Yeah. So I guess that option is no longer there, unfortunately. If anybody has any different information, please share it. Oh, yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. I'm sorry. Okay, yeah. So basically, yeah. So once you get into it, then you're going to see this right here. See where you see the monetization right there and you see it on. If you tap into that, if yours is off, if you tap into that, then you can go through and you can make whatever adjustments that you need for your monetization settings there. Okay, I was like, man, I know you can. I normally don't do that stuff on my phone. The only thing I'll do on my phone typically is publish and then, of course, look at stats like a crazy person. What's my real time? What's my real time? Oh, it's 10 minutes later. What's my real time? But for the monetization, yeah, you can absolutely do that. Let's see here. Upcoming trends for travel channels to be aware of. I have no idea. I don't have a channel I don't have a travel channel currently. I'm not working with any travel channels either. So things that are coming up, I have no idea. One thing that I would be mindful of though, is that a lot of things are going to be trying to open up, or they are going to be opening up. So because of that, just talking about places to go as places open up, keeping people informed on the places that are opening up that are ideal vacation spots, things like that, would be something to consider. If people travel for the holidays, because we got the holidays coming up in terms of Christmas and New Year's and all that. So making content based around that, that's always a win. That's called tent pole. We can kind of count on those types of things. It's not necessarily a trend, but it's called a tent pole because the interest in that spikes up during that period of time like clockwork, and then it goes back down. So tent poles can happen within industries. They can happen around holidays. They can happen culturally as well, because I'm in Thailand. So the tent pole things that happen here are different than the tent pole things that happen in America, for example. So because of that, you want to, just make sure that you're considering those types of things in addition to trends. Let's see here. So Sugar Vision just subscribed. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to Nimmin. Hope that you enjoy your time here and you learn a bunch of fun stuff. Reptiles and Research says should publish when it says that your audience is active, or should you stick to a consistent time and day a week and let your audience know what to expect? So what you're going to end up doing is you're going to end up doing a mix. And the reason you're going to end up doing a mix is because let's say that you publish every Friday let's say you publish every Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern. If you publish every Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern, naturally, since that's your published time, you're going to end up seeing that, your viewers are typically on, around that time if you've been publishing at that time like clockwork. But then if you start publishing on like another day, then on those other days, you're going to see, a little bit of a different thing there. But over time, if you're getting, a nice amount of consistent view count, you're going to start seeing, okay, typically most of my viewers are on from like this block to this block. So when you do see that, then in that case, it's most likely going to coincide with your upload schedule already. It's just going to help you fine tune. So for example, if you typically publish at 6, but then you notice most of your people are coming online around like 8, then in that case, moving it forward, an hour or maybe 2 hours, or moving it back an hour or two, might be the right approach there. But basically just kind of mix the two. So use their information, but also kind of work it into your life as well. And just consider that as you publish consistently at a certain time, that's also going to, alter that graph just a little bit, an hour shift here, an hour shift there type of thing. But if you're targeting like a demographic, in terms of like, you're trying to get more US viewers, or you're trying to, reach people in the US, then of course, your data there is going to be skewed towards that demographic, instead of it being, skewed towards only your published time. So, you want to keep all those things in mind. Let's see. So question, once I post a short, do the analytics change to prioritize this timing or a combo of shorts and regular? It's a combo of shorts and regular with the exception of the actual short itself. Let's see here. I do patio videos, Jamaican mother language. I do short videos, say 3 minutes. 85% of my audience is asking me for longer videos. I want to keep it short and spicy. What should I do? So the algorithm follows the audience. So in some cases, as long as it fits into what it is that you are wanting to do, then in that case, making the longer content might be the win. The whole reason that I'm sitting in front of you right now as, giving you YouTube help content is because that's what, people from my channel a long time ago started wanting from me. This wasn't always the type of content that I made on this channel. I would do like video idea stuff. And I would also do things about working in a coffee shop and just being productive and like that type of content. So people started asking me, I published a video on YouTube search and people started asking me in the comments, hey, can you make more videos like this? And I'm like, sure. So then I started making more videos like that. And then I started introducing different tools and, things like that. And then I started fine tuning everything towards YouTube content creators and pop. So, like as I followed the, like the algorithm follows the audience and so did I. So I recommend that you at least give it a shot and see how people respond to it. So, let's see, you're not seeing an aura. Okay. Well, there's that. Then, so I thought that, I was like, hey, we might be onto something here, right? We might be onto something, but yeah, now I'm like, oh man, I was hoping we had something good there. So, let's see here. So, I have just over 1,000 subscribers, a gaming content creator. I've been debating on if I should monetize through YouTube right away or wait and find a partnership company. What is the best approach? Do it yourself through YouTube. Don't use a partnership company. There's no reason to. They're going to promise you things like, hey, if you, sign up with us, we'll give you like a free tube buddy or we'll give you like free epidemic sound. But at the end of the day, with, if you start getting any type of view counts that matter, I mean, they all matter, but you know what I mean? Like anything substantial, then you're going to end up like being able to pay for that stuff anyway, really easily, really fast. So because of that, like they're not going to give you any real value. So your question, hey, Nick, in the future, do you think YouTube will run low on space and start deleting old unused channels and videos? They already do. Delete unused channels. And if those channels have videos on them, then they also have the option to delete those as well. So in the terms of service, they actually have, and I can't remember the exact amount of time off the top of my head, but in the terms of service, they actually have that if your channel goes unused for a certain period of time, in terms of you're not logging in, you're not using, or interacting with YouTube with that channel, that they have the option to delete that channel at any moment. Let's see here. Oh, the blue aura. Oh, I got it. Okay. So it's the thing back here with the aura. Got it. Okay. So that's what happens when I'm not paying attention, right? Okay. I got it now. I got it. Okay. So, Tech with KG says, I wear glasses like you. I got an issue with monitor and light reflections. Do you have a special coating on your glasses? No, but, I do. When I did have a special coating on my glasses, it screwed everything up. So give me 1 second. I'll show you.
If you're enjoying the show, remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend right now.
I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see this or not. Well, we're going to find out. But these glasses, when I have these on, because they have this like blue thing. Yeah, you can see here how it kind of turns everything blue. So when I put these on, like I have to be really careful around like monitors and things like that, because these glasses here will, they just kind of create that blue cast and it can be really distracting. That's actually why I got these. I'm actually looking for more frames like this. I haven't been able to find them yet, but because of that, I did not get the light blocking stuff for these. And it keeps that like purplish blue thing from happening on my glasses, luckily. But other things as well to keep in mind is if you have an issue with light reflections, from the monitor, just positioning, where you're positioning things, definitely is going to matter. So you can see if I look up here, then you can start to see some of the stuff. If I have a dark mode option for anything, then I'll put it on. So basically I do have dark mode here on like Twitter and I have dark mode over here on YouTube, but StreamYard and this other tool that I'm testing right now, both of these have light mode, but I do have dark mode on this one. Actually, I found out recently. Oh no, that's in the new one. So yeah, so I don't have it yet, but basically, when you have the light mode on and stuff, then of course, that light, the white is going to reflect through your glasses. So, just kind of running everything in dark mode can also, cut down on the amount of, the amount of, reflection that you're getting off of your glasses.
Super
The Driver Sensei said, thanks for answering my questions and helping all the YouTube creator entrepreneurs. My pleasure, Driver Sensei. Thank you for the super chat. Hope that you are doing awesome today. How long should I wait before analyzing results or changes / edits the thumbnails and videos for retention? So it depends on how many views that you have coming in. So like if you're getting, like let's say like 1,000 views per video. If you get 1,000 views per video, then you can go in, you can get a pretty good idea of, like how people are responding to what it is that you're doing. And you can make decisions, a lot faster than if you're getting 100 views per video. If you're getting 10,000 views in a relatively short amount of time, then of course it's going to take you a lot less time to be able to, get significant data out of what it is that you're doing. Technically, I mean, you can pull what it is that you need to know from like 100 views, but when you start scaling it out, then you start getting more information at scale. So then everything starts becoming deeper and deeper on the side of just being statistically significant. So because of that, if you're getting large view counts, Maria Nicole, what's up? Hope you're doing great. If you're getting larger view counts, and of course you can do all those changes quickly. So that's an advantage that channels have that can get a lot of view counts quickly, is that they can test things like really fast. So like for example, like if I publish a video, there's a really good chance that within the first, I don't know, at least 2 hours, I'm going to get 1,000 views on that video. So because of that, if I check in at like 500 and I notice my click-through rate is, relatively low, then, I can be like, okay, hey, I need to change this compared to, what it is that I normally get. And I can make that call, relatively fast, especially if it's a video that's taken off well, and I get like that 1,000 views in the first like 30 minutes or the first hour, then in that case, I can get a lot of data quickly to know, hey, do I need to, change anything or whatever. But when you are publishing, if it takes you a while to get that information, then in that case, you need to get, 100 views, 500 views before you start like really being able to dig in. But, if you are able to get that quickly, then of course it's going to speed up, how fast you can start testing things or changing things. Exactly. Let's see here. I missed a super chat from Coin Crew. Okay, Coin Crew, right here. I noticed yesterday that YouTube didn't give me a notification to subscribers. How much time between videos will YouTube give notifications? Oh, yes, keep rocking. Okay, so when it comes to YouTube giving notifications to your subscribers, with every video you publish, YouTube does not notify all of your subscribers. So even if they opt in for it, YouTube is not sending out notifications literally to everybody that's ever subscribed to your YouTube channel. They will send out notifications to people that have, opted in for all. But, just because somebody clicks the bell doesn't mean they opt in for all. So because of that, what happens is YouTube will send out notifications, and they actually show you this inside of your analytics for each video. But they'll say, hey, we sent out 100% of the notifications on here, but out of the notifications that we've sent out, only, this percentage of people actually have notifications enabled on their end. What that means is, the system is like, hey, this person put out a video, but in the person's browser, on their phone, things like that, they have notifications shut down. So then they're not actually able to receive that notification. But if YouTube did not do anything in terms of the notification side, make sure that in your upload settings, when you're uploading the video, that you have that little slider slid over that tells YouTube to notify your subscribers of that particular video. So you can do that at the time of your upload, when you're actually uploading the content and you're getting everything like ready to publish. You can check that box to make sure that they are sending it out to your subscribers, to the people that have opted in for it. Let's see here. So as we keep on trucking down this line, we've got, let's do some more questions. So if you got a question about what it is you're doing on YouTube, go ahead and drop that Q in here right now. We are going to go ahead and just answer some more questions here in lightning round mode. Yeah, it's a checkbox. Thanks, Doug. Thanks, Doug, as always. Okay, question. Put a Q in front of your question. Go ahead and drop it. Waiting for it. Okay. Shouldn't one always choose the best for viewer in the end screen, as this will probably prevent videos from being presented for a second time for a viewer? I was just talking about this just a little bit here a little bit ago in the stream. So what I recommend is that you have the one that you recommend to your viewers, in terms of like, your audience, the type of stuff that they're into, what makes sense with the type of content that you make. So have the piece of content that you recommend. That can be a video or a playlist that you drive people into, and then also have a best for viewer. The best for viewer is for those people that have already clicked on those, or if they just don't vibe with your recommendation, right? Because basically what you're doing there is you are using your intuition and your understanding of your audience to know, hey, this is something that's going to be relevant to the people that are watching this video, so I'm going to recommend this. And then you are leaning on that, and then you're also leaning on YouTube as a fallback to where they know the videos that people watch on your channel. They know the stuff that, the people that are watching your channel are interacting with, and that they're, enjoying more and all that. So because of that, they focus on, a specific piece of content for each individual viewer as well. So then what you're doing there is you're kind of creating a catch-all. So then, you have your recommendation and then YouTube has theirs. As we keep on going here. Okay. And really quick, Doug, on the volume side of the music, for everybody here, is the music okay? Because I'm trying to create like a little bit of a vibe going on here. I'm going to make a graphic for the lightning rounds too. But for the music itself, is like for the volume here, how are we doing? We doing all right here with the little boom, 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 boom stuff that's happening in the background? Let me know, because I just want to make sure. You might not even be hearing it. I don't know if you can hear us or not. Okay. So let's see here. Where's the box for letting subscribers know about a video? It's set by default. So, some people will go in there if they don't know what they're doing, they'll accidentally, like uncheck it or something. So that's why I said just to double check and make sure that it's there. But it's set by default, so you should be okay. But it's in the upload process. Okay, where's the music? Okay, so you're not hearing music. Yes, music is so fun. Go a little louder. Yeah, I'm like trying to ride that line because I know like last week I got some complaints saying the music was like too loud. So I'm like trying to ride that line on like, hey, what's too loud? Like what's enough? Like on my end, what I'm seeing here is it looks like it's coming through, at a fair volume. I'm just trying to make sure that it's not too much. Okay, you don't hear anything. How about here? Do you hear that? Turn it up there just a little bit. That might be too much. I'm not sure. Okay. So let's see here. As we keep on going, I'm just going to keep answering questions here while I'm waiting for that feedback on the audio. Says, where was that box to check? Yeah, it's in the upload process. So basically what you want to do for that is as you're uploading, you're going to see that see more option or more options. You want to click on that. And then you're going to go down to there and you'll see it in there. Let's see here. Music is awesome. Okay, good. So it is coming through. I'm trying to make sure it's not, too loud. Let's see here. Okay, so what should my thumbnails be as a team sports channel that covers multiple topics in one video? Your thumbnail should be imagery that helps people understand that the content that you're making is something related to sports. So that could be like if you're talking about baseball, use imagery around baseball. If you're talking about football, use imagery around football. If you're talking about tennis, use imagery around tennis. But the whole idea is to help people identify that the content that you're making is something that they're interested in. And the reason this is important is because on a homepage, if somebody watches a lot of baseball content, on the homepage, there's a really good chance there's going to be some baseball related videos there. And the people that are into baseball, as they're scanning over their homepage, those baseball image, the imagery related to baseball is going to help them understand without having to read a title, without having to think about anything, without having to read anything. It's going to help them understand at a glance that your content is about something that they're interested in, which is baseball in this case. So then they'll at least stop on it, read your title for a second, see if it's something that they're interested in, or they'll just click straight through. And then, that's where your title and your thumbnail work together as a team to win the click. So make sure if you are using that sports imagery, make sure that you are, coming up with something compelling for the title to try to pull them in based on, how your audience and the things that they're interested in around the sports content. Let's see. Next up on our list here, I love this lightning round thing. This is great. So next up, we've got, where's that box? Okay, we did that one already. Where'd you get that sound bite for the drop your question time? So this right here, like all of the music that you hear currently is coming through Epidemic Sound. My brother D and I, we're currently working on a music resource as well for content creators. That's going to be coming out really soon. We're actually putting the finishing touches on like the website and stuff. Well, I mean, it's being built. So we're not putting the finished touches. We're putting the finishing touches on like the getting everything ready before we submit it to actually be, constructed. But that's going to be coming out for everybody soon. So make sure that you stay tuned for that. But it's a free resource for you guys. So because I know everybody, is always worried about copyright claims and stuff. We're trying to help you solve that problem. Okay, so let's see here what I'm doing now. Okay, channel's monetized, but I want to change the channel name. Will it affect my monetization? No, you should be okay on the monetization side. The only place that it affects you on YouTube in terms of features is that if you have 100 subscribers or 100,000 subscribers or more, 100. If you have 100,000 subscribers or more, you'll lose your check mark, and then you just reapply to get the check mark. Is there a certain way to getting sponsorships or promos? The easy way is just to make awesome content and grow your channel and get some momentum on what it is that you're doing so that they'll start sending you emails. That's the best way. But you can also put together a media kit. You can start proactively approaching companies that you would like to work with. Let them know that you're on the radar. See if you can present them with any ideas in terms of like, hey, I'm working on this video. It's about this. And I think that your product would be a great fit for this video. Do you work with, content creators, or do you work with YouTubers in any capacity when it comes to, the content that they're putting together, either monetarily or through, products or any of that stuff. But you want to put together professional emails for them, put together a media kit so they can know the demographics of your channel, your average view counts for, like, if you're trying to get like a live stream sponsored, then in that case, they need to know the average view counts of your live streams, about the average watch time, like how long people are staying in your live streams, the type of engagement that you get in general. If you're doing video content, then in that case, you need to make sure that you have, a thing for that as well, to where, these are the average view counts. These are the main demographics for the channel. These are, people do watch the videos, they're watching for about this much time. And the reason that you include the watch time stuff is that helps people understand you in terms of where it is that you're putting specific sponsored messages. So like, for example, if you get, typically people watch your videos for 5 minutes on average, and you make 10-minute videos, then it doesn't make a lot of sense to put it at the end. Then in that case, you want to make sure that you're putting it in the front, that sort of thing. But when you include that, you just want to make sure that you're giving them your average view counts, your watch time. And you also put blurbs in your media kit as well about, like who your audience is, that kind of stuff, about why it is that you do what you do on YouTube, that sort of thing, so that you can start connecting with companies that are there, that are similar in terms of, values and things like that, in addition to, the actual promotional stuff that you'll be doing. What's the most underrated piece of analytics YouTube or TubeBuddy provides? So grouping in YouTube. That's the most underutilized feature. Almost, that's why I made a video. The video that's pinned right now at the very top of the comment section here on YouTube. Like, if you just look at the comments, it's pinned at the top. The video that's pinned there is about things that most YouTubers don't know about YouTube. And one of those is the grouping feature. So some people know about it, but the people that know about it, a lot of those people don't use it. But basically, anytime I work with somebody, or, anytime I show somebody like, hey, this is a grouping feature, this is some of the stuff that you can do with it, people are like, so I included it in that video. But the grouping feature, because it's kind of hidden a little bit. So that's the most underrated piece of analytics in YouTube. In terms of TubeBuddy, they're A/B testing for the thumbnails. That would be the most underutilized or underrated tool that they have. And the thing with the A/B testing is it basically swaps your thumbnails out for you. You can do all this manually, but it's a much bigger, it's a headache actually when you do it manually, because you have to track things over time and track different traffic sources and stuff. But in TubeBuddy, when they're swapping your thumbnails out, what happens is, they have, one day they have your thumbnails this, next day this, next day this, next day this. And when they're doing that switching back and forth, they're keeping track of, this thumbnail performs better in search, this one performs better on home pages, this one performs better in suggested videos, so that you can start thinking, okay, where do I want the traffic to be coming from this? So if I want more homepage traffic, then in that case, I would want to lean on the thumbnail that's dominating more in browse features than I am in search. If I'm trying to get it, search traffic, then in that case, I want to use the thumbnail that's dominating more in search. But in addition to that, with their thumbnail tool, they also show you things like how much people watch, how long people watch for each different thumbnail as well. So you can start to add up, right? Like, okay, watch time per impression is really important to YouTube. So if this particular thumbnail, the expectation that this thumbnail and title are creating before people click on this video, if that's causing people to watch longer, then in that case, of course, I want to make sure that I'm, going into that one. But they give you all this data that you can use to decide which thumbnail that you want to use. So when you're first starting and you're niching down, you want to make sure that you are just making sure that you're thinking of niching down to an audience. When you niche down to an audience and not necessarily just a content type, then it opens you up a lot more creatively. So an example that I gave earlier in the stream today, and I like to give myself as an example in this scenario because you're watching my live stream right now. So like on my channel, I talk about YouTube and, all things YouTube. So I talk about how to grow your channel. I talk about all the tools and stuff that will help you thrive, all that stuff. So because of that, I'm in front of, YouTube content creators. And since I'm in front of YouTube content creators, that doesn't mean that I can only make YouTube help content. It doesn't mean that I can only make content about the tools. I can make anything that you would find interesting. So for example, I could do skits on my channel as long as I'm funny. And when I did the skits, I could do skits on my channel to where instead of it being just a skit about something that would be, just general audience related things, like, maybe something about, something that's happening in the world or something, mine would be based around something that YouTube content creators could relate to. So that, so in that case, it would be something completely different than what I normally do. But since it's a skit, then, you would still find it funny because as a YouTube content creator, it would resonate with you based on the things that I would be talking about in that skit, right? So when it comes to niching down, it's not necessarily niching down the content type. It's more niching down to serve a particular audience. So what you want to think about is you want to think about, who is it that I'm making this content for? How can I make content in a way that these people that I'm trying to make this content for will resonate with it the most? And that's the approach that you want to take. But when it comes to, how specific to niche down in that case for the audience, you want to nail it as much as you can. And you can go really deep when it comes to, like, how do I figure out who it is that I'm making content for? You can go really deep. But if you're just getting started, like, you can start very broad. So, it can be like, hey, I'm trying to reach if it was my case and I was going broad, it would be like, hey, I'm trying to reach YouTube content creators all over the world, but primarily in like the Western markets, right? So like that would be the thing because, I speak English, that kind of thing. So obvious things, for that as well. But at the end of the day, what you want to think about is I'm making content for an audience. It doesn't mean necessarily that you're going to be limited on your content. So you're not niching down your content, you're niching down to serve a particular audience. Just like, the History Channel. They niche down to serve people that are interested in history. Therefore, that causes them to make just anything related to history content, right? That's the idea. Let's see here. Rock Climbing Grandma says started making videos based on comment questions. It's great. I do that too. I have a whole series that I do, my Squanda series, and that's just subscriber Q&A. And that the whole thing is basically just answering your questions, just like I do here in the live stream, but I do it in video format. What should I do if my channel doesn't grow? Figure out how to make it grow, or try different types of content. So, you might be great at making one type of content. You might suck at making another type of content. Like, for example, if I started making cooking content just because, I wanted to make cooking content, like, people would be like, hey, this recipe isn't that fantastic. Nick, putting like pre-made chili into nachos, it's probably not the best thing to recommend to people, right? So therefore, that might not do well. But, I'm really good at teaching. I'm really good at sharing information. Therefore, like I'm good at this, right? So, so just make sure that, what it is that you're doing. Just, if it's not working after, a period of time, just first make sure that you're doing all the right things. Because a lot of times people won't put in, and I'm not saying you're doing this, but a lot of times people won't put in the effort and then they'll be like, oh, well, this isn't working. Well, it's not working because it's not working or that it's not something that works. It's not working because you're not doing the right things in order to make it work, right? So there's that side of things that you have to kind of look in the mirror and just be real with yourself about in terms of like, am I really giving this, am I really giving this the effort that's needed in order to make this work? And I'll tell you right up front, YouTube, it takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of thought. Like if you are wanting to do this professionally, there's a lot that goes into it. So, so because of that, just be ready for that. People's Republic of the North government says, hello, I'm the supreme leader of PRM government, starting a YouTube channel for my government. Should I make a law to force all citizens of my country to subscribe? Oh, so funny. Love it. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. As a matter of fact, you should have them like, since we're talking about this, what you should do is have them subscribed at birth. So like as they come out, they're subscribed already. Like, so it's like they get their, their identification number that we all get all over the world. So they get their identification number that proves that you own them. And then after that identification number, they also get a, pre-made subscription to your YouTube channel. In addition to that, your YouTube videos are broadcast on all of the TVs and smart devices and mobile devices as part of the plans that go into, like, if somebody's going to come in and they're going to offer, like cellular data to your citizens, then in that case, as part of that deal, when they first open up your phone or they first open up the phone, you want to make sure that you work in that your videos play, that your propaganda videos that they play right when their device first opens. That's what I recommend there. But yeah, birth. And then at birth, that like you got them there, right? So depending on, how big your population is, that's going to, of course, determine, the growth of your channel. Because of that, you might want to consider annexing, other places. maybe liberating some people, that might, help grow that subscriber count as well. If you do start, taking that approach. So hopefully that helps. Oh, the fun stuff that happens here during these streams. So fun. Okay. So let's see here. How to get a better RPM CPM. I saw a lot of people saying that gaming channels usually have a very low CPM. Is it something that you can control? To an extent. Like if you are, like, for example, if all of a sudden you started making videos on like how to make money gaming, then because you're talking about how to make money, then those would start getting a higher CPM. Just because, the ads that would be going against that type of content would, be typically higher. So, those types of things are definitely things that that can help. Let's see. Hey, Smoking Joe, what's up, man? Hope you're doing great. So as we keep on going through, we got D in here. My brother from the same mother says, freedom, you will never make me subscribe. People's Republic of the North government. See, you can spot the American. You can spot the American in the house. Yep. He's like, nope, you'll never make me subscribe. Yep. That's that's D. That's D for you. Okay. So how to comment and pin your own comment under your own video for monetized channels without creating problem for monetization. You can do this on monetized and non-monetized channels. All you do is go to your comment section, write a comment, and then publish that comment. Right after that comment's published, then you're going to see a 3-dot menu over on the right-hand side. Doesn't matter if you're on a mobile device, on a computer, anything. Click on that 3-dot menu, and then it's going to have the option to pin comment. So you just click on pin, and then you're good to go. This is also mentioned in my video that's published at the very top of the chat right now. Okay, so hey, no problem. Hey, if you also if you're looking for like world domination, that kind of stuff, definitely get in touch. We we're all about dictatorship, and all that good stuff here on Nimmin Live. Just kidding, by the way, about the dictatorship thing. Okay, so let's see here as we keep going. Do you have any recommendations? Okay, do you have any recommendations for people who tend to be introverted or can get a bit more anxious without interaction like a recording? Okay, so here's something that I want to let you know. If you're an introvert, one thing that you are going to find about YouTube, and it took me a while to uncover this. It actually took me going to a conference and meeting people in person for me to realize this. There are tons, a staggering amount of YouTube content creators that are introverted. And the funny thing about it is that as a YouTuber, right, like when you're making videos, like you're making videos in the comfort of your place in a lot of cases, or you're making videos in environments that you can control in some way, or you're turning on the camera in the places that you're most comfortable. So even if you're vlogging out in the world as an introvert, you can still walk down an alleyway where nobody's watching and make videos there, right? So as an introvert, you'll find that there's a ton of YouTube content creators that are also introverts. So like these are your people, right? But what you want to think about is being introverted doesn't mean that you can't put yourself on camera, right? So in order to do the whole YouTube thing, of course, you can make videos without showing your face. I've got videos on my channel. If you just do Nick Nimmin videos without face, then you'll have like a few videos that'll show up, that'll show you different things that you can do in terms of different videos you can make without showing your face. Still gonna need to get your voice in there. But outside of that though, I mean, you can do it with like, AI voices and that kind of stuff. But, like there are ways that you can do it without being involved, in terms of your voice or your image on screen. But introverts tend to get a lot of fulfillment out of making YouTube videos. So because of that, I recommend that you do give it a shot and just kind of see how it goes. And while you are giving it that shot, keep in mind that when you are, uploading videos to YouTube, that, or when you're making videos, you don't even have to publish them, like you can just watch them and be like, yeah, you know what, I can do this better, and then make another one. And then only publish the ones that you're like the most happy with. Like you can do that if you want to, but, just keep in mind, a lot of people are, anxious when they publish content. A lot of people are anxious when they go live. A lot of people are, uncomfortable with a lot of this stuff, but they push through it because of the other advantages that come from, being a YouTube content creator. Roberto Blake in the house. What is up, man? Hope that you're doing great. Roberto's like, yeah, that wasn't a joke on the dictatorship thing. He's like, assemble the Legion of Doom. Oh, love it. Good stuff. Jay-Z helps. Saying Roberto Blake in the house. Thank you for the super chat, man. Appreciate it. Also saying I recommend joining D Nimmin's YouTube channel. Absolutely. If you're a mobile content creator, go check him out. Roberto Blake's been putting out some real, like if you guys are interested in like the monetization side and the business side of being a YouTube content creator, definitely go over and check out Roberto Blake's channel as well. Okay, let's see here. So as we keep on going, Roberto, you got some love here, man. Says, Roberto Blake in the house, big inspiration. One of the reasons I started YouTube. Thanks. So just a heads up, Roberto, you got some love, coming here in the chat as well. So my channels used to get 2,000 to 3,000 views a month after using shorts for a few months. Now it's like 20 to 60K views. Subs are trickling in, but do you think that it hurts my usual uploads? Publish a video like normal and just see what happens, right? So basically, if you're getting a lot of traffic from the short shelf and you're getting really good at making shorts, you might want to consider just making shorts. That's definitely an option as well. So, it really comes down to what it is that you're trying to do and, the audience that you're trying to grow and the intention span that audience might need or might not need, those types of things. Just consider that when you decide if you want to go all shorts or all long form, or if you want to do a hybrid of the two. Let's see here. So as we go, anyone need YouTube promotion, please let me know. Let me just go ahead and block this person. So let's see as we go. So yeah, there's just a person in here saying if anybody needs any YouTube promotion, like that's like, yeah, you don't ever want to use services like that, by the way, everybody. Like when you use a service like that, they always end up, leading you down the wrong path. Like somebody that promises YouTube promotion, the only way that you can get actual promotion on YouTube is by making good content that people respond to. It's the only way. Like learning how to do that. If that person can like help you learn how to do that, then they might be beneficial. But outside of that, if it's like, hey, we'll just guarantee a certain amount of views and a certain amount of time and all that, nobody can do that. So avoid those services like crazy if they make promises like that. Okay, so as we keep on going, we've got, let's see here, how to use clips from TV, movies, other YouTube videos, and more without worrying about copyright. You have to use them in a way that falls under fair use. Even within that, you're probably still going to end up getting copyright claims or strikes from time to time. So because of that, if you can avoid it, I would. A lot of people do get away with it and they, do fine, but it's typically done under proper fair use. So because of that, you just want to make sure that whatever it is that you're doing, that it does fall under fair use. If not, then you're going to be climbing that hill of constantly fighting, copyright claims and stuff like that for a long period of time. Two Spanner in the house, Danielle. Hope that you're doing fantastic. Says late to the party. Keep doing what you do. Get some treats for the Puppinati. Oh, love it. Tube Spanner, we've got that. We're like rounding home on that. So we're trying to get that at least ready for beta by the end of this month. So fingers crossed that we are going to we're going to hit that mark to where people, some of you guys are going to be able to come in and start actually testing that. Hopefully, as long as everything gets wrapped up here by the end of the month. So it'll either be end of this month, maybe early next month, depending on how things come together. But that's what we're going for. So super excited for that. So Roberto Blake. Okay, so no questions. Okay, what was that live stream that you recommended after this one? So the live stream that I recommended after this one is the channel review stream that's happening over on the StreamYard channel. If you go to youtube.com/StreamYard, then you can subscribe over there, or I'll just go ahead and drop the link here so that you can get ready for that. They're actually going to be starting here in 2 minutes. So as soon as they get started, I encourage everybody to go over there and hang out in that live stream. They're actually starting in like 1 minute and 30 seconds. So thank you for mentioning that, by the way. But they're going to be starting here in 1 minute and 30 seconds, and they're going to be reviewing YouTube channels. But in addition to that, they've kind of gamified the whole YouTube channel review thing, and their streams are super fun to watch. Like even if they're not looking at your channel, they're super fun. They've got like sound effects and all these like spinner things going on, and like it's a really good time over there. So I really recommend that you definitely head over there and check out that stream. As soon as this stream comes to a halt, which as a matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead, go to the channel review stream here. Boom. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just drop that in the chat right here so you guys can go ahead and start and head over in that way. And while you're heading over that way, I just want to remind you, if you are, if you've been hanging out in this live stream, if you're new to YouTube, we do talk about a lot of different things. And because of that, I encourage you to, it's really easy to get kind of overwhelmed. So I encourage you to pick like a thing or two and, just start working on that over the course of the next week so that you can get a better understanding of that. Go in, start learning how to like read your audience retention reports, for example. That's a great place to start. Anything related to your stats is a great place to start. But also, I encourage you just to give yourself a break in terms of, like if you're having a slow road right now, if you're trying to get going and things aren't, working out, the way that you intended yet, I encourage you to, hang in there. Sometimes it can take a while to get going, based on, your speed of developing skills. And, like you can only publish so many videos, within a certain amount of time based on the amount of time you have, things like that. And sometimes it can just take people, a little bit of time to actually, get going. So because of that, give yourself a break. Don't be hard on yourself, but just make sure that you're focused and you're intentional with everything it is that you're doing on YouTube and that you're trying to learn and apply the things that you learn. Okay. So everybody have an awesome rest of your weekend. Head over to that channel review stream right now. My brother D and Daniel Batal are going to be picking it up over there. And we will see you guys over there. And thank you so much for hanging out. Everybody have an awesome rest of your week. And I will see you at next weekend, Saturday, 9 a.m. Eastern here. Same time, same place. Everybody have an awesome rest of your weekend. And I'm going to go ahead and drop that link to the channel review stream again. And I will see you over there. Everybody have an awesome weekend. I will see you next time.
Thanks for watching Nimmin Live. Remember to check out our sponsors and other useful resources in the description below this stream. See you next week.